Hey Hodies, welcome to my channel. My name is hautemesstom and thank you so much for clicking on this video. While you're watching this video, I am actually away. I am in Las Vegas for a Creators and Friends event. So I wanted to do something a little bit special for you in one of the first videos in December, or I think this might be the first video in December. What I've done is I've compiled a best of Critical Sass. If this, for whatever reason, is the first video you've clicked on of mine, Critical Sass is a series of videos that I do on my channel where I talk about new makeup releases, and I basically try to talk myself and you out of buying them, sort of like an anti-haul, but I also like to celebrate things that I think are good, where I think anti-hauls, their nature is that it's like an absolute no, and that's not how I always head into them, but I try to talk about the pros and cons. So what I've done here is put my sassiest moments in here, or the ones that I thought had the best advice to kind of wrap out the end of the year. So if you are new here, I just want to tell you before you get into all the rest of this, my channel's focus is about loving my makeup collection as it currently is, while being very discerning about what I bring into my makeup collection. So if you're looking for that kind of content, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you like this video, and if you found this worth sharing, I would love to have you share it. I'm on patreon.com if you want to support me there. Patreon.com/hautemesstom. Over there, I do additional content, and my podcast with my friend Kackie of Kackie Reviews Beauty is over there, and we do that weekly. There's no pressure to join my Patreon. It's just an option. It doesn't mean that you're a better subscriber or a worse subscriber if you follow me on Patreon, and you might not want to, or you might not have the funds to, and no judgment there. You can do it or not. It's just an option. But thank you to all of my current patrons. Thank you all so much for making Critical Sass such a success this year. It is one of my better performing video series on my channel. I know that you find it very helpful to hear me talk through these things, and I definitely love seeing your comments talking about these things and helping me break down my excitement for some makeup. It's very, very helpful. So I hope you enjoy this best of Critical Sass menagerie collaboration. I can't think of the freaking word right now. What is the word? Is it a montage? Why can't I think of it? Anyway, enjoy this best of Critical Sass video because I can't think of what they're called. While I was away, back at the beginning of December, McGrath released a Star Wars collection. This is the second time she's released a Star Wars collection. Having been a former McGrath stan, I know that maybe some people might be like, why Star Wars? But like, if you think about kind of all of the releases leading up to the first Star Wars release, everything is kind of like space themed. Whether or not it's like definitively a space theme, but it's all kind of space adjacent, right? Celestial, like these are the types of, these are the types of words being used in the marketing for a lot of Pat McGrath. She was on a podcast, or maybe it was on the radio at one point, but they had her talk about her 5 songs that impacted her the most, and all of them kind of were like space themed. And so I see a world in which Pat McGrath is just like, I really love Star Wars, and so this feels really organic to me. From an outsider's perspective, it's like, do I feel that way? Does it seem that way? I don't know. I can't speak to that. But anyway, starting there, we'll end with the thing that, I'm sure everyone wants to hear me complain about. The R2-D2 palette is cute. I like the color in there. I like the brights. The neutral is kind of kept to the R2-D2 C3PO palette. so much I pay attention to Star Wars. There's also the Darth Vader palette, which is probably, if I were to buy any of them, that one's the most interesting to me. I guess kind of how it's a bit of a read, guys. It's a bit of a read. If you weren't here when I did a Charlotte Tilbury brand review, and I was doing it as a skeptic, and I was trying to figure out if Charlotte Tilbury is luxury, is it worth it? And, they're kind of with any brand, there were some real big hits for me and some real big misses in the brand Charlotte Tilbury, but it was mostly a miss, and I found the experience overall not to be super luxurious. I did find some of the formulas, but not the packaging they come in, to be luxurious. So it all depends on what you're looking for, what you consider to be luxurious. And I think that's a topic that we'll do on Minimal Sass. Like, what is luxury makeup? Like, what do you consider luxury makeup to be? And it actually was inspired, one of my subscribers brought it up and said, I would love to hear more about that. And at first I thought, I don't know that I have much to say about it, but the more I've thought about it and more it's sat with me, the more I've been like, oh yeah, I think that is a topic worthy of a Minimal Sass. Lip gloss is fine. Lipsticks, fine. Or I don't know if any of those are like new shades. They might be repackaged shades. Thing that I think I was the most interested in whenever I saw this, the thing that made me get a little bit excited, were those potted eyeshadows. And I have seen some of my friends on Instagram, specifically I'm thinking of Daria, I believe that's her name, A Variety of Distractions. I believe is her name. If I have that wrong, I will correct myself both on screen, and I will link her Instagram down below. You should be following her. She does some great content. She does some really cool killer looks. She's actually just very cool. You should be following her. She has a couple of these, and I've seen them. They're not as sparkly as I'd want them to be. They look great, and they look very simple one and dones. But at this point, if I'm buying a one and done, it has to have like dimensionality to it all on its own, and that's like not what I felt whenever I saw the use of these in practice. And I think that you can kind of tell just by like looking at them that you're gonna get like something beautiful, but maybe like not something extreme. And you know what's very interesting, if you watched Hannah Louise Poston's video reviewing the Lisa Eldridge eyeshadows, that's a very interesting thing to think about, because you know we all use makeup differently, and when I think of something like this, these potted eyeshadows, I want extreme. I want it to be sparkly and textured and gorgeous and have depth and like be something that I need my one and done eyeshadow to be something that smokes, like a smoky eyeshadow. I don't want to do a one and done of like a light color or something that's very close to my skin tone. That's not what I'm looking for. And I think that's kind of closer to what those do, maybe with the exception of the like deep blue one, which would have been the one that I probably would have been the most interested in out of all of this. But let's get to the main show. If you are new here, if I were to pick my favorite Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, now I'm wearing Pat McGrath actually today, which is funny, but I'm doing a side project, and it will come back up on my channel, but I am cycling through my eyeshadow palettes and I'm using them all. I want them all to touch my eyes, and then after I cycle through them, I want to like reflect on that. So that's what's going on, and that's why I'm wearing Pat McGrath today. But I wasn't expecting, I really enjoyed using the eyeshadow palette I used today, which is Mothership Divine Rose 2. Don't really know what number it is anymore. I used to be the one who would know all of that, but I've moved on. But Midnight Sun has always been my favorite Pat McGrath palette, and I've always feel like it's been an unsung hero. And I know why it's not popular, and I know why it's not the thing that everyone loses their mind over when they think of Pat McGrath Motherships. The color story is difficult. It's not as straightforward. You're not given a bunch of neutrals with some very shiny pops. You're not given a bunch of neutral shades with some very shiny neutrals. So you have to think about it a little bit more, and I love that. Not that I don't think it's the most challenging color story ever, but I could see that if you're spending that much money on an eyeshadow palette, you're going to want it to be something that you can put on every day and feel very confident about what you're doing and feel very self-assured about what you're doing. And I don't know that this palette offers people that feeling. Kind of, for me, it's like when I'm buying something that expensive, I want it to be beautiful and unique and challenging and interesting and feel like I'm exploring it every time I open it. And that's how I feel about this color story. But if you've paid any attention to Pat McGrath and her website, this palette is often on sale. Without the Star Wars, often on sale. Honestly, I think it's kind of just been on sale for quite a bit of time at half off, almost like $75, I think is like what they were selling for, something around $75, which for a Pat McGrath palette, unfortunately, is a steal, right? Like that's probably the best deal you're going to get on a Pat McGrath palette. And sometimes I think you could even use promo codes on top of that discount. People who are aware in the makeup community like kind of know this. Now, if you're not in the makeup, if you're not like super into it, you might not know that. And so then you see this Star Wars release, and you're a big fan of Star Wars, and you're a big fan of makeup, and you never really thought about Pat McGrath, and you see this, and you're like, yeah, I like that. I'd buy that. The upcharge, the expensiveness of it feels worth it to me because I'm getting also merchandise. It's a limited edition Star Wars thing, and I will feel so happy to have that. It is like a sticker, and I think it's Monica Bell Beauty. If I have her name wrong, I will correct myself on the bottom. On Instagram, made a reel and said, hey, FYI, this is a sticker on top of the regular Pat McGrath packaging. Brands have done this before. Brands have tried this before. Tarte really did put a sticker over top of an old palette, and it was just like, and sometimes I understand that you might have excess packaging, but you have a different product in it, and you're just like, we have all of these palettes and we are doing the same types of pan. That makes a little more sense to me. We also saw it with, I think, Urban Decay with they had like some kind of matte blurring powder thing. And when it used to be called it was called the Velvetizer. And anyway, if you peeled off the sticker, it was just the old thing. What a lot of us assume, this is alleged, I have no idea if this is what happened, is they were like, well, We're going to remove all the palettes we haven't sold from their cardboard component. We're going to slap this sticker on, put it in a different cardboard component, and we are going to sell it at full price as if it is something that they have never seen before. That doesn't feel like the move for a luxury brand. Also, I did not circle back to the luxury thing. When I also think about those 5 pans palettes, is that luxury? Are we calling Pat McGrath luxury anymore? And that's just something to philosophize about. Falafel fries about. We could talk about it in the comments. Like, do you consider Pat McGrath luxury? She certainly prices her stuff at that price point. But like, is that how you think about her anymore? Because a 5 pan in a cardboard packaging, whether or not the formula is luxurious or not, it's like, is that what I want to spend like more money than I would on an eyeshadow palette? I'm not saying for me, but like I'm saying for like people who wouldn't spend that much on eyeshadow, like, because I have, and I'm not trying to say that I wouldn't, because I have, but like to me, I wouldn't go for the 5 pan palette at the upcharge. I would rather spend more, and I know that's not available to everyone, and Pat McGrath selling the formula in these 5 pans is much more accessible to much more people. And I think that is great. It becomes a game of like brand identity too. You can be a mid-range brand if that's what you want to be, or not mid-range, but like a high-end, right? Like, we're about putting you down from luxury. You're selling things at a more accessible price point, not the most accessible, but at a more accessible price point. Do you want to do that? That might make you more money. That might make more sense. But you kind of started at this price point, and it feels like we're working our way down. I'm saying this, it's going to sound really snobby when I say, but I do feel as though when you see this shift happening, and I would say this for any, like, if Chanel started doing this, if Chantecaille started doing this, it's like, you thought we all should be paying this, and now we're seeing over time that like it's not the same value, so you're kind of devaluing your thing. Like, anytime I recommend something from Pat McGrath, it's like, don't buy it until it's on sale, because it will go on sale for an exorbitant discount, not just 10, not 15, but sometimes 25 to 30 to 40% off. And then it's just like, if I could just wait to get it 40% off. And it would be one thing if she ran one sale a year, kind of like Victoria Beckham does, or Chantecaille runs, like they run so fewer sales. It's like, what do you think that we should pay for this? Because it seems that you might be making most of your money on your sales. It's like, maybe that's just what it should cost. So maybe we aren't a luxury brand, and maybe we do bring the price down, and it's just like that's what I'm philosophizing. Anyway, I think it's a damn shame. I think it's a damn shame they thought they could pull the wool over our eyes. Also, they blocked Monica. They blocked her. And that feels really icky to me. Here's the thing. We are all, I say this also as like, you know, a public figure. I mean, I'm not the largest YouTuber, but I do know there are almost 3,000 of you watching me. And, you know, sometimes I'm going to say stuff that you're not going to like and disagree with. And I'm going to have to hear that. Now, I'm not saying you being nasty to me for no reason. That's not the same. I'm saying if you're like, Tom, you said this thing and I like didn't, you know, this is how I feel about the thing you said. Much like a lot of people did not like the way that I talked about e.l.f. or other brands whenever I was talking about fast makeup. And that's fair enough. We don't have to see eye to eye on that. But I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to say you can never watch a video of mine again. And you might choose to stop watching me. And those are like the things that happen. That's the nature of this. So you have isn't it $1 billion brand? You have $1 billion brand, and someone pointing out the fact that you just lazily slapped on a sticker hurt your feelings so much that you felt compelled to block. Feels a little weak sauce to me. Like, I don't care for that. And, you know, Pat McGrath has been, in my personal opinion, has kind of been like spiraling the drain as far as my personal perception. I'm not saying the makeup community at large. I'm just saying for me. And this is kind of like that cherry on top where I'm like, okay, so I'm good. I'm good on that. Like, I'm good. Like, for me personally, I love a lot of the Pat McGrath makeup that I have in my collection, and I do cherish it, and I feel fondly for it, and I had to like come back around to it because at first, when I started feeling these feelings about the brand, I was like, you know, and I felt icky about everything I have, and I don't feel that way anymore. Like, I bought that, and I bought them because I loved them, or I thought I loved them, and there was a reason I bought them initially. And so I'm trying to fix my relationship with the products I already have, but it does kind of leave me feeling like, I don't think I would like to buy more products from you. And I'm not calling for a boycott on Pat McGrath. I don't think that if you want to continue buying from Pat McGrath, but I'm saying for me, That's the cherry on top. Also, if you're not following Monica, you should. It's Monica Bell Makeup. I was so close. Monica Bell Makeup. Makeup loving gay auntie. 40 plus. And please go follow her. First and foremost, she's a beautiful Black woman and queer. And I love that. And we need more of that in this community. And also not in her 20s. We love to see it. Please go. I'll pop a picture. I probably already popped a picture of her up here. Go follow her. Go follow her on Instagram. It does seem that Instagram that's where she's posting. She's also a law professor and a sociologist. So not only that, she seems to be very intelligent, which we stan. Flower Beauty has released their low light dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury contour thing. I guess I've been part of the dupe conversation. Like, I guess I said some of that in one of my videos, but like the conversation around dupes has I feel like gotten like pretty intense recently. In my opinion, it makes sense for Flower Beauty to do this since they've already done the highlighter version and at a price point that might be more accessible to people. I feel like this is a good release. I don't know if they're good. I don't know how many shades this comes in. Probably more than Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, it doesn't take much. You just need 3 to be doing better than Charlotte Tilbury. Yeah, I mean, I won't be buying this. I mean, I don't even think I would buy the Charlotte Tilbury one again. But I kind of like it, but like, I'm not in search of this. But I'm happy that the option's there. But I guess there was another drugstore brand that recently did these. I guess I just would like to see, I mean, I've already said this before. I did a whole video on it. You could just make a contour. And it could be a liquid contour. It doesn't have to look like that, though. You know what I mean? It's just like, why don't you just make a really good contour formula? Why not do that? Now even brands at the same price point are now duping each other. And it's like, oh, I guess it's the Wild West of makeup right now. Dupes are rotting my brain. No more cheap dupes, Miss Barrymore. This makes me want to go on a no buy. Megan says, I'm over this delivery system. It's gone from trendy to ridiculous to over it. Yeah, I think that's like the best way to that's it. That's the tweet. That's all of the thoughts. Tarte's also releasing blushes that are coming in that mechanism too. And it's like, who cares? Say released an extension of shades for their Hydra Beam Concealer. And I don't remember how many were in the original release, but I think there are now 15. And I think they purposefully did the promo shots for this so you couldn't spot the gradient. But I'm here to tell you, it's not better. It's like not better. In both directions, not light enough, not deep enough. It's like a wild shade range. I don't have I ever really talked about Say on my channel? I haven't. Well, I guess I think I did a video where I was like brands I'm specifically not interested in, and like Say as a brand, I don't get get it. I just don't get it. And I feel like every time something is released by this brand, utterly polarizing. I know a lot of people like the cream bronzer, but I see people put it on and I'm like, that looks really orange. And like, I mean, I haven't tried it myself, so I can't really actually speak to that, but it's just like, what is this brand doing? I'm annoyed by this marketing image. Like I am. I literally think that they did it this way because they were like, we're not going to let you catch us because we're going to confuse your eye. And then the next page you have swatches and like, we can see the swatches. We can see the gradient in the swatches. It's so bad. Steven, not what you say. I can't stand you. Say gives me greasy, not glowy merit. Yeah, I could see that. Say's aesthetic is to make you look like you just climbed out of a pool dripping wet. That's kind of like what I like. Sort of, but it doesn't sing to me. Miranda, I have one of the Chanel ones, but it's the deep tan and it's more red than orange. But it is the deep one, but it's not deep, which is awful. My organization brain makes me want to put this in order and I hate it. Can someone get a Virgo to fix this? This chat is lit. That is correct. If you weren't here, if you were only in the original one where I kept messing up the stream, then you missed out. All right, I guess. Here we go. Let's talk about it. Pat McGrath. You know, every time I talk about Pat McGrath, I get trepidatious. Minsu, you're not going to like what I have to say. And you know that. The Love Collection includes 3 Mothership eyeshadow palettes, but the Mothership without all of the vowels. There's the Sublime Seduction, the Iconic Infatuation, and Velvet Liaison. The Fetish Eyes Longwear Liquid Eyeshadow, those are $29, and it comes in Divine Champagne, Luna Rose, Bronze Bijou. I don't know why I said that like that. Platinum Bronze, Smoldering Seduction, Twilight Platinum, and Cosmic Chartreuse. The Satin Allure lipsticks, $30. Crimson Ecstasy, In the Flesh, and Nude Venus. The Skin Fetish Divine Blushes. Are these in different packaging? So those come in Desert Orchid, which I have, so I don't understand what's going on here. And Flirtatious, which I know other people already have, so I don't. So is the packaging different? If someone knows, let me know. I'm not going to read the chat yet. And then 2 Liquid Lust Legendary Wear lipsticks. And then the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. Well, they're really trying to push that again, which has been interesting. First of all, whenever I read that there were 3 eyeshadow palettes, I was surprised because I thought there was just one. I have heard that people are excited that there's an all matte one. I will tell you this, they're not my preferred matte eyeshadows. I have plenty of matte McGrath eyeshadows. They're not my preferred mattes. I know that some people like them. It's not me. I don't like them. It's not for me. So the matte one is immediately out. And then the other 2 ones are so boring. I get it. Like if it's supposed to be your Valentine's Day collection, this will sell. It's boring. Of course it's going to sell. But like, that's what we've been saying about Pat McGrath for the past 2-3 years. It's going to sell because it's boring. I don't understand what's going on with the blushes. I kind of hate this constant cycle of re-releasing the blushes in different packaging. I think it's happened with highlighters too. You can make a new shade of blush. Lipstick in my white Valentino. What is this? Like, I don't understand. I think the thing that is like the most noteworthy, in my opinion, is these liquid eyeshadows. I'm saying this as someone who doesn't like liquid eyeshadow. I couldn't give a flying fart about these. Like, I just like do not care about liquid eyeshadow. As someone who's greasy eyelids, there is not one that I have put on my eye that has survived more than an hour. And so they're like decidedly not for me. Like I just can't get them to work. So that would be the one thing that I would maybe be a little bit excited about. The colors don't even look that interesting. And I'm sure I would like them. They look sparkly and like I like sparkle, but like, oh man, this feels it's a shame. That's how I feel about this brand. It's just a shame. It's a shame. I think I'd be less upset if we got, one for the money, one for color fans, or like one for people who want something that's different. We're just always getting this. Because it's like, what's going to happen next? Like, I'm surprised that the discourse around Pat McGrath's holiday releases really don't often become like, it looks like how Charlotte Tilbury releases the same blushes every year in those quads, or it's like not, that conversation isn't happening. But like, these are all the blushes are always, they exist. I think there was like 2 new shades in the palettes this year, so 3 out of the 4 were already in. Like, I just don't understand that. I understand like if you don't have any of them and you buy one, that makes sense, but like, I just don't understand. And I know the chat's popping off. How could she release these blushes again? The PMG release is sleepy. The last couple launches from Mother have been a no from me. Same. I love her blushes. I'd appreciate new ones. Yes, I like her blushes. I have 2. I enjoyed them. Who needs vowels when you can have the same thing you already have? This new Tarte palette is kind of cute. Respectfully pass. Auntie Pat, you are no longer Mother. Whoop! Pat said, you don't want pink, have some brown. Yeah, I wish she would have just released new blush shades. If that would have been exciting, I would have been excited about that. Is this new? I can't tell. I might get a liquid eyeshadow to see what her formula is like, but the whole launch is boring. I do think a small all matte palette is smart. The lipsticks are all the same. Yeah, some people are excited about the matte palette. Literally the only thing exciting about this is the liquid eyeshadows. I agree. Who is the new Mother then? I can do polls, but I have to have answers already. I would throw up a poll. Auntie Natasha Denona. I think Natasha Denona has to stay in Auntie. It's pretty in the same way that Wet n Wild's Valentine's collection is pretty. 10-year-old me would love it, but I simply don't care. I also thought it was one palette. Thank you. Thank you, Kelsey. Personally, the only worthwhile releases are the Mothership palettes. Yeah. The 3 palettes have the same shades rearranged to make them look different. If you're excited about this launch, I'd like to remind you to get your bone density checked and renew your AARP minute. Woo! I hate her for her boringness, but she is clearly business savvy. She puts her products on sale all the time. People still buy them at full price. That's true. I do try to tell people just not to. In new drugstore releases this week, Pat McGrath comes to Walmart. All right. I have to move on. I can't with you. You guys need to stop. Charlotte Tilbury is releasing 2 new shades of the hypnotizing pop shots. So are they just going to keep doing like a limited edition shades of the pop shots, or did they restock the ones that were for holiday? I don't know, because I went in there and I got my pop shots and I left. And I like, now that I am out of that Charlotte Tilbury review phase, I'm like not looking back. I'm like, I'm good. I got what I needed, because I did not care about the highlighters that came out at the beginning of the year. And I don't care about these. And I'll tell you why. If you recall, I bought 2 of the hypnotizing pop shots. I bought the blue one, which I think is called Cosmic Rocks. And I also bought Smoky Quartz. I bought Smoky Quartz first. I love Smoky Quartz. Smoky Quartz is one of my favorite eyeshadows that I own. It's beautiful. It's everything I've ever wanted. And what I love about Smoky Quartz is that it's deep. It has depth. And what I can do with it is, with just that eyeshadow, I can do a very sparkly, very impactful smoky eye with it. And then I was like, oh, I love this. I'm going to buy Cosmic Rocks because it's a beautiful blue. It's duochrome, whatever. I say that as if I have never seen a blue duochrome before, or also as if I don't own many blue duochromes that I don't wear often enough. Got that into my hands and I was like, it's going to be the same thing. I try to do a blue smoky eye with Cosmic Rocks. Can't. And the thing is, now that I have this beautiful blue eyeshadow that it's in its own compact, I'm not thinking of it when I'm building an eye look unless I purposefully pull it out. So it's not serving the same purpose. I would never wear Cosmic Rocks as its own one and done because it just can't hold its own. And looking at these 2 shades, they can't hold their own. And not that they have to be deep. They're beautiful. The lavender one's so pretty. And we're really in, like, I think we're in a lavender haze. Don't sue me, Taylor Swift, please don't. We're in this lavender haze that we're all in, and it's really pretty. But looking at it, I know it's not going to be a one and done. Today, for example, my eyeshadow look isn't super deep. I did not go very deep on the outer edge, but I would not wear this shade of eyeshadow that's on my lid as a one and done because it's too light. I like to have that depth. Now, some people will put whatever on their eyelids and that's all they need. And so I think this will be good for you if that's you. But also keep in mind, these are $34, or at least they were when I bought them. That's hefty. And also there are so many beautiful indie brands that do this and better. And I'm even saying that, like, Smoky Quartz I probably could have found in an indie brand and been just as happy. But like Smoky Quartz like satisfied the fantasy, Cosmic Rocks didn't. And I don't think that either one of these would do that for me. That's just my truth. We're gonna finish off with the Isamaya lipsticks. I don't even know if I can show them on YouTube. Hopefully it's a non-issue. Isamaya released the Color Infusion lipsticks. Delivers intense color payoff with lustrous, comfortable finish, featuring ultra-dense liquid pigments suspended in a solid oil, with the final effect being a satin slick saturated color in just one stroke. $95 each. The brand will be supporting Planned Parenthood for the duration of the Lips collection to help provide sexual and reproductive health care and sex education to all people across the U.S. I don't know why you all wanted me to comment on this. I'm not the be-all, end-all voice to tell you how I feel about Isamaya releases, but I do appreciate when you guys tag me in things, because sometimes you guys tag me in things that I would not know of otherwise. The thing is, I don't care. I hate to say this, and it's not to dismiss anyone's feelings about this. I saw some people with some strong feelings about this. A number of things have happened. Isamaya has won by becoming part of a conversation. Like, the brand has won by us all talking about this and feeling some kind of way about it. I think the right response to this, and again, if you had a different response, that's totally fine. I rolled my eyes, said, how stupid, and then moved along. Let me tell you why I had this response. Now, it's very easy for me to say that now, because after all the volunteerism things that happened with Isamaya, I'm not really interested in the brand anymore. And like, I'll be open to seeing what happens with the brand moving forward, but like, I don't know if this was intentional, but like the way that all happened and then this happened to be the next release feels like what? I know that makeup releases take a really long time to plan out. So it probably was just like, that's just the way the cookie crumbled and how this release fell. And like Isamaya did the thing, made the post, behaved the way she did, responded the way she did whenever people were giving her pushback for all of that. And then this is the next release. It's like, who cares? To me, it's like, who cares? But it's really easy for me to say that because I was interested in the brand until the Wild Star collection. And then I was like, I'm not interested in this. And then the volunteerism stuff happened. All of that to be said, it's really easy for me to say that now because it's like I'm just not interested in the brand anyway because the brand's reputation has been tarnished by the owner. This is also speaking as someone who has interacted with Isamaya product, and I own one of the Isamaya palettes, and it's still one of my favorite palettes, by the way. I'm not saying that my feelings on it have changed at all because of all of the things. Isamaya's packaging leaves a lot to be desired. And while there was that cool 3D printing on the front, the packaging is so light, it doesn't feel luxe. It looks cool, but doesn't feel luxe. And at the price point it's at, it's like you're kind of expecting a more luxurious experience. And I remember whenever I was reviewing it, I like really tried to comment on how small and how light that palette was. And then I saw people buying it and then I follow and they were like, wow, Tom said this was light. And I didn't believe, like it's hard to believe how light and small this is. And it's like, yeah, exactly. For $95 for a lipstick, I would expect this to be like it's kind of something very luxurious, like the Guerlain, and it being refillable. That's what makes the most sense to me because other brands that price their products at this price point typically are refillable packaging. So like Dries Van Noten, those are you pick your color of lipstick and then you pick your outside packaging. Guerlain, it's the same thing. You pick your lipstick and then you pick your outside packaging, and they're around like that $100 mark. They are not cheap, but I know that this thing that Isamaya has released is not going to feel like those do. I know that. Like, I can tell you that without even having it in my hands. I know that's not going to feel like that. The second thing that I haven't, that makes me roll my eyes is that I know that Isamaya has kind of been functioning and like donating proceeds while she's been doing these releases. It's like part of the ethos. It's like one of the things that she wanted to do whenever she started her brand. Like that's a thing that the brand is like consciously doing. So if you're upcharging these to donate money, that's not right. Like that's not the thing. Your other lipsticks do not cost $95. Your ones that came out in the Wild Star collection do not cost $95. They're still expensive products, but they're not $95 expensive. So are you upcharging so you can donate more money? That's what it feels like to me. I'm not going to pay $95 for an Isamaya lipstick. I probably wouldn't have ever paid $95 for an Isamaya lipstick. And I'm not even that repulsed by like the cock imagery. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not like, that doesn't bother me. It's giving Spencer's, and Spencer's even rolled into the comment section and said, did you get this from the back of our store? That's it. I don't think it's an embarrassing release for the brand. Like they chose their choice. People are talking about it, and you know what's going to happen because of the response of a lot of us as consumers, influencers. And I'm not saying like me, I'm not saying like, you know, people in my close circle of influencer friends or like makeup reviewing friends. But because of that, I bet there are going to be influencers that have never even talked about Isamaya or even knows that Isamaya as a brand exists will see this release and buy it, and then they'll put it in their thumbnail on YouTube, and that will be the first and last time they talk about Isamaya ever. And it'll be a thing that like really benefits the brand overall. But what I will ask you to do, if you are interested in this for some reason, but like the main reason you're interested in it is because proceeds go to Planned Parenthood, just donate your money, be it $95, $5, whatever you want to donate to Planned Parenthood. Donate it directly to Planned Parenthood, and then you keep that receipt, and then you get that tax deduction at the end of the year. Don't let Isamaya get that tax deduction. If you want to donate your money, then donate your money. Don't buy this product to therefore donate money. Just donate your money. You don't need to buy this to donate your money. That's the be all end all of it. I like don't care about this release at all. I understand a lot of the conversations that were happening around this that I was seeing on Instagram. I personally don't care, but it's okay if you have more feelings about this than I do. You're allowed to. I just think that Critical Sass also contributes to this. And I'm not saying that I'm scot-free, but these visceral reactions we have to not only makeup releases, but kind of everything, perpetuate brands to keep doing it because it works. That's what happens. That's what's going to happen with this release too. So Laura Mercier is releasing the Tinted Moisturizer Bronzer, an effortless cream bronzer with all the benefits of the beloved tinted moisturizer that gives your skin the perfect natural sun-kissed glow and 12 hours of hydration. Highlighted ingredients: prickly pear, fruit seed complex, uniquely tailored bronze pearl blends that bring the ideal level of warmth to every skin tone. So these are $30 each, and I think these have already launched because Trend Mood is talking about early access. I did not buy, but I saw a lot of people review the blushes, the tinted moisturizer blushes, and I don't think I saw anyone who had a good time with them. And that was not that long ago when that was, and I'm going to guess that this was already in production when those were in production, like whenever those got released. And so my guess is that this is some kind of alteration on the blush formula, I'm guessing. So I wouldn't buy these. This is something 100% I will wait for reviews on. But also, like, the first 3 shades kind of look the same, and then there's one deeper one. But there's some uniquely tailored bronze pearl blend in there, so I don't know if it's one of those things like the pH balancer or any foundation I bought that's supposed to adjust to your skin. I don't know. This feels not good. Maybe I don't know if people have started reviewing this on the internet yet. This isn't something that I would even be remotely interested in, by the way. Like, I don't even know what Laura Mercier could do that would make me go, I would like to try that. Also, I don't even think this is the last Laura Mercier thing that we're going to read for filth today. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's unfortunate. If this is like a very similar formula to that blush formula, unfortunately for them, I can't imagine that this is going to go very well for them. And if it is something they had time to adjust the formula after getting the feedback from the blushes, then hopefully it's better. My manager at Sephora used to mispronounce the brand as Larry Mercer, and this is how the tinted bronzer shade makes me feel. I had a college professor who pronounced Christian Louboutin, Christiane Louboutin, and that's how I say that brand now. So I don't even say Louboutin anymore. I say Louboutin. Literally nothing is more boring than bronzer. That's fair. I happen to really like bronzer. I had a sample of the tinted moisturizer blush and it was okay, but so light on me. It's already getting bad. Alex says it's already getting bad reviews. Sometimes with reason and deduction, we can figure things out before we even buy them. Welcome to Critical Sass, everyone. We're 30 minutes in, but welcome. We've done it. We've achieved Critical Sass. Okay, let's get into this monstrosity. I've been waiting. This has been out for a second. This is the Cali Ray Endless Sunset Face and Eyeshadow Talc-Free Palette. This is a clean, talc-free, multi-purpose palette in a sustainable bamboo compact with 7 curated shades. Pigmented matte, satin, and glowing colors can be used as eyeshadows, highlighters, blushes, and contours. And the extra large pans and refillable bamboo compact will be available March 14th. So this is already something that you can purchase. I've watched people use this.
No.
I recently found out, I was listening to another YouTuber talk about this, and they said that Cali Ray is the person who created Urban Decay's new line. And I was really confused by that. Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe just do something interesting with Urban Decay unless they no longer work, like they no longer are associated with the brand.
First of all, how dare they? Many good responses. Gross. I'm so disenchanted, who cares?
So my first question is, they said that this is a refillable thing. So are they making refills of these quarter pans?
Baby, how?
I don't know. I look at this and I'm like, am I supposed to refill it with things that I can find? Or are you going to make refills for these? And also, this brand isn't going to last long enough for anyone to actually need to refill any
100%. V-Nib, sorry. I don't want to refill this with only their weird pans. So it's not even like you could use that for something else.
No, but I think the idea of a bamboo compact is very cool. But then if you're putting magnets in it, doesn't that therefore make it unsustainable? So what is the point? I'm not the end all be all of sustainability, but I know that bamboo is like incredibly sustainable. I think it grows like 3 feet a day. Like that's why bamboo is like incredibly sustainable. So that's cool. But then it's like, if you're putting magnets in it, that's not. And I just don't understand. Not only that, it's just like this, I have such issues with like these universal face palettes. They're never universal. And also if it was universal and everyone could use it, why would I need those deep shades? Why would someone with deep shades need those lighter shades? It just doesn't make any sense. Like everyone loses.
You're not a face palette person anyway. But
I'm not.
Apparently, totally sold out on their website. Also, it does look like the put the circle in the circle toddler game. And the layout is, in fact, uncomfortable. Very much like Hungry Caterpillar. And there's no mirror, apparently?
There is no mirror. I did watch Teresa use this as well. I saw someone talk about
Yes.
that. Oh, there are 3 versions of this?
Somehow doesn't make me feel any better.
No, I don't trust Callie Ray. I don't know anything about them. But I don't
Who
trust
are
them.
Where did they come from? What are they doing here?
Where did they come from? Mirrors are recycled. But again, if it's refillable and there are magnets in these, it does the same effect.
Would I use it more if it had its own mirror? Wouldn't it be able to be taken on the go at that point?
In my opinion,
they're sold out because they only had 3 in stock.
Oh.
I mean, I was like, okay, point taken. They're sold out.
They're sold out. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So they're only making the
false
refillable
scarcity.
pans. Yeah, and like made 3 pallets.
And then Majestic Beast also made a good point that Blessed Atelier still has not made refills for their refillable powder. So. And it's been we're approaching a year. I'm sure that some people have used up entire pans. I don't know that world. That's not me.
I don't know her.
But like I just hit a pan. Oh God, I hit a pan on a powder that I've been using for 2 years. So it's like that's my pacing.
She is no longer Mother Kelly. You're right.
Remember we demoted her to Auntie Pat.
I don't think she's invited.
You don't think she's not invited to the? I don't think you and I get to decide who's invited to the barbecue.
No, but I don't even think. Mm-mm.
Remember when we tried to figure out who New Mother was, and then we tried to say it was Janessa Myrick, so that we like actually couldn't come up with someone who was New Mother. I'm New Mother. I don't even have a makeup brand.
Mommy
has arrived. Okay, let's talk about this monstrosity. This is the 7 Lights Powder Illuminator. This is available in Europe now from Shiseido. This is a multifunction illuminating powder inspired by ancient Japanese beauty rituals. A combination of 7 light reflecting pigments that adapt to any skin tone and type, improving its luminosity, providing freshness, vitality, and energy to the skin. It has a moisturizing formula that prevents the appearance of signs of dryness and or shine, has a semi-matte natural finish, and a floral noted scent. You can use it as blush, eyeshadows, or contouring. And that's it. That's the one. The one that you see up here, that's it. That's the shade it comes in. That's the shade it comes in. You can do everything with it. You can be matte, you can be dewy, you can be whoever you want to be. It's the powder that does everything.
I'm interrupting you because Kelly called you Mommy Tommy.
That's the only way that you're allowed to call me Tommy. It's if Mommy
Tommy.
Mommy Tommy.
Get ready because that's what Gid's gonna call you.
Actually,
that feels good and right.
It does feel good and right. Okay, this is a nightmare of a product. I don't understand. Like
how is it possibly all of the things? It keeps you dry, but also shiny, but also natural, but also kind of matte.
But it's a bronzer and eyeshadows.
But you could set your whole face
but
with
it's
it.
a whole blush too.
Wow. And it smells like flowers.
That's the worst part. That's somehow the worst part. That I got to that part, and I'm using a Shiseido eye cream right now, and it is so stinky. Like not in a it hasn't gone rancid. It just smells. It just smells.
Hot mess, mother.
Orange yellow blush is trending in Japan, so that's why it looks like that. Now, but if it was an Asia release, I would understand this and move on from it. It's released in Europe. That's different. And that means they're selling it to a different market, because sometimes the Asian market gets really weird stuff that we never see. But sometimes we see it on Trend Mood for like it never comes to America. If this is being sold in Europe, then I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't even know if it's going to come to America.
I want to see yellow blush. I don't want to buy yellow blush.
Ritual Defy has Wasp. I have Wasp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's yellow blushes. Indie brands, I'm sure you could find yellow blush. Motham. I forgot them. All I would do is I would take this brush and I would go, and then I would see what happened, because that would be the only thing that I could do with it. I'm not going to pinpoint all of those colors on their own. I'm not going to try to color correct and bronze with this. It's just not going to happen.
Why do I want to try it, though?
No, I do too. So Shiseido, Shiseido, if you're
Toxic
listening,
traits.
Shiseido, if you're listening, if you'd like to send this my way.
Shiseido, if you're listening, change their mind.
I don't think my mind would be changed. This is the Shape Tape Radiant Concealer from Tarte, available online at QVC. This is a medium coverage formula.
Wait. Just QVC?
It just says QVC, which Tarte. It's like you can buy some very specific things in only very specific places.
That's very true.
as two former Sephora employees, the amount of times we had to tell you. Shape
do you
tape.
have shape tape?
Oh, do you have the Man-Eater mascara? No, unfortunately, we do not. You
Actually,
cannot
no.
get that here. So this is a medium coverage formula that feels feather light. It helps give you a soft focus, blurred effect in your skin. Plus, it helps to temporarily plump the appearance of skin and temporarily hydrate and moisturize the skin for the appearance of a softer, more radiant complexion. Also, improve the look of fine lines and wrinkles for a more youthful looking appearance. $31 and you get a sponge with it. Castor oil squalane. Mica. That's the third ingredient.
How much is in there?
That's scary. I'm scared.
Yes.
Someone very jokingly tagged me and Kackie in this post saying that this is the actual Tarte shape tape for middle-aged people.
Kackie said QVC is popping off.
Well, you know, sometimes you get those exclusives. Sometimes you get those deals. On the QVC. I mean, I'm not gonna try this, but sure. But wait, didn't they just release a hydrating shaped? Am I losing my mind, or is the newness that there's a sponge that comes with it, or is this just a new product in general? Because I swear there was already hydrating shape tape, but maybe this one's a medium.
I thought that there was already hydrating shape tape.
I thought that.
What the fuck do I
But
know?
I don't. You know, everything's called shape tape. Everything is the same name over and over again. How the hell am I supposed to know?
Everyone's general consensus is that this is too sparkly. And Emily says that someone was using it for an Allure article and it looked like actual liquid highlighter.
Oh, so like the Makeup by Mario foundation.
Close.
They probably go.
Kackie says you are correct that there already is one.
But
I like how they're aiming for their target audience, older ladies.
Well, it's been becoming more and more bodies being involved in beauty.
Well,
shots.
I love
yeah,
that.
No, it's
but
great.
Like, and I would have thought that prior to the QVC of it all.
Yeah.
But now that I'm a
who watches QVC?
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Not I.
I mean, I would be so in the hole if I watched QVC. I'd buy so many stupid things because I absolutely know that there would be some stupid launch, and I'd be like, I absolutely need that.
So it was confirmed that there is a creamy shape tape. Jean has it. Not good.
Ooh. The Luminous Silk Liquid Glow Bronzer Drops. Now, I'm going to post the picture of the arm swatches, which there's a couple of things I like about it, and then one thing I'm really confused about. So, on the first arm, the lightest arm, they swatch all three shades. As it goes on to the deeper models, the shades that are too light get dropped off. But then if you look at the third model, the model with the deepest skin, the arm with the deepest skin, that shade is lighter than that model's skin tone. So I think we might have a problem if we're calling this a bronzer for that type of skin tone. Now, maybe it will just add warmth. Maybe it will still do something. Obviously, I don't have this formula, and I also don't have deep skin. But I'll be curious to see how that plays out. Everything about this sounds lovely. I've never tried a liquid bronzer. I know that Cover FX had one back in the day that Samantha Ravindal really liked, but I never tried that. And then I think Samantha Ravindal kind of distanced herself from it because they brought them back, but they didn't bring them back in enough shades. And Samantha was like, no. I'd be interested in trying this. I don't think this is something that I would buy with my budget to review. I have enough bronzing product, but the reason I think I'm interested in it is I've always kind of had an aversion to liquid products, but recently Surratt sent me some of their liquid blushes and I really like the formula. So I'm wondering if I would like this, although this isn't a dropper. And while I don't really love the mechanism that Surratt puts their liquid blushes in, I'm not sure that I would like this any better. I guess I would have to dispense it onto a mixing palette and then go from there. It does look beautiful. But it's something that I would enjoy trying, but it's not something that I would pay for. Armani typically does a pretty good job with releasing minis. So maybe these will have a mini. And I think a mini would be a much better purchasing option for most people unless you love bronzer. But I don't love bronzer so much that I need a full one of these. So Fenty, this is a little bit old news, but Fenty was released a Match Stix cheek and lip in Strawberry Pop that gives you a rosy shade that reacts to your skin natural chemistry. Very few brands have managed to do this pH reacting thing in a way that feels mature. And I understand, as I'm not the oldest person, but Fenty's not a brand exclusively being sold to Gen Z. In fact, I would say that if anything, Fenty should be following millennials where they're at, because I don't know that younger people are going to really care about the journey of Fenty. Not going to be as invested because we have a relationship with Rihanna. The people our age and older have a relationship with Rihanna that maybe younger people don't have. They might like Rihanna. They might think fondly of Rihanna, but there was a lot of people our age in it. So we're attached to this Fenty brand, and the Fenty brand years ago introduced this whole full possibility of ranges. But I feel like they keep releasing things like designed to be TikTok trendy, and I don't think that's what they should be doing. I just make beautiful product. These pH adjusting things, we all know that just means that you're gonna have a hot pink whatever. It doesn't matter. I know there's only one shade of this, but it's hot pink. Surprise, it's hot pink. Now maybe on a deeper complexion, which I'm not really sure I've ever seen someone with a deeper complexion use a product like this, maybe they get more out of it. Maybe they might get more out of it than me with someone who's like pretty fair skin. I don't care about this. I don't want this. I don't think, have you ever liked a pH adjusting thing? And if you have, then maybe this is for you. But if you haven't, which I bet most of you don't like the way that those look on you, then just a pass. Now, to be fair, I have seen it done well, and we'll come back to it. Like, there's a product coming up later. I might have the pH. I don't actually know for sure, but like, we'll talk about it then. There are brands that have done this idea well, but I just think I'm fine with, like, we're going into spring, summer. We want, I mean, look at, I mean, everything. I'm like wearing a neon yellow shirt. I have a bright red lip on. I have a fiery orange eye on. So like, I'm ready for these kinds of pops of colors. Like, I'm here. But I don't think this is how I want to do it. Also, like, I do kind of like this limited edition packaging for the, like, the stick. But also it's just like, I feel like it's too little too late on those sticks. But some of you have said that you like the matchsticks. Couldn't be me. Not for me. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't love them. And you should. If you do love them, you should love them. But like, it's not a product for me. I have a hoop earring on. My nails are longer than they've been in quite some time. I have the energy that I did 6 years ago in my body right now because of all of this. Because it's just who I am and my nature. Bare Minerals heard the cries of the people and said, you want more bronzer shades? Let me give you only 2. Thank you, Bare Minerals. Well, first of all, Bare Minerals, thank you so much for listening and making more. They have Kiss of Mauve and also Kiss of Spice. Can you tell which one I'm more excited by? Because I know you can, because I have been tagged and then also it's my name tagged and then Kiss of Spice. It doesn't say anything more than that. It's just like everyone needed me to know that this was coming. And you're right, I want that. I want that. I actually have a couple problems. First of all, Kiss of Spice, singing my name. Singing my name. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, stunning. It's everything I've ever wanted in a bronzer, and I didn't even know that I wanted it in a bronzer because I already thought they made the perfect bronzer with me when they made Kiss of Copper, but then I tried Kiss of Pink. Kiss of Pink is really good. The mauve one. How different is it going to be from the other two, like, pink-leaning ones? I don't know. I don't have it, and I'm not going to have it because if there's any blush shade I do not have interest in buying, it's a mauve. It's a mauve. I love a bright, cool pink. We've learned this about me now. And a year ago, I wouldn't have admitted that. But I will admit it now. But this Kiss of Spice, call me the gingerbread person. Do not call me that. Because I did see on State of Kate's story, she had reposted another creator's swatch of it, and it was pretty deep. And I was like, I would probably do more of a bronzer placement with it, as opposed to a blush placement with it. Anyway, it's really gorgeous and stunning, and if it ever comes my way, I'll be more than thrilled to try it. Here's why I'm not going to buy it. And this is more of a personal thing. I have a lot of makeup. I am testing a lot of makeup right now. So I don't want to add another thing to what I'm testing. And while I'm testing new things, I still want to love up on my other things that I've had for some time. I don't know that a bronzer is really going to find itself in the mix unless it's something that I already own. And I have Kiss of Pink, which a subscriber was kind enough to send me, and I have Kiss of Copper, which I purchased and I really love. And in the summertime, I really love Kiss of Copper. So that's why I wouldn't buy this. But here's what I also will offer up if you are a bronzer lover, because I know it's a very popular product. A lot of people really like it. People really dig it. What I'm going to say to you is that if you bought the bronzer formula and the color is perfect for you, why risk it for the biscuit to see if one of these colors you would like more? I find 8 times out of 10, if I buy more than one shade in a specific formula that I like, that I don't really care about any of the ones but the ones that I love the most. So I think if you liked the bronzer formula, but the 3 colors they initially released didn't work for you and you tried them, but you were like, I really wish they made a shade, and perhaps one of these shades is more appealing to you, then perhaps that might be a good purchase for you. But from where I'm at, like, Kiss of Copper is really it. And I was I'm blessed enough that someone sent me theirs free of charge for Kiss of Pink. And I really like Kiss of Pink. It's a beautiful blush. But I would have just been happy owning Kiss of Copper. So would Spice really fill a gap? No, it's just like now I have 3 of this formula that I really like, but what's going to happen is I'm just going to keep using the one I like the most. And it's probably going to be Kiss of Copper. Chanel Le Beige Healthy Glow Cream in Rosy Beige. A cream gel that evens out and illuminates the complexion with a subtly rosy veil. With a lightweight formula that is easy to... Okay, so I have one of the Healthy Glow bronzers. I like that formula. That's bait. That's me. That's the color of me. I don't know what to do with that. I don't see, like, luminosity coming from it. I'm sure it's not matte because the Healthy Glow bronzing cream does have, like, a glow to it, for sure. Someone asked, is this a blush or a bronzer? And Tread Moon said, it looks like a cream that gives glow to your skin with a rosy hint of color. What? It looks like Silly Putty. It's like the color of Silly Putty. And it almost looks like old gum. It doesn't look deep enough to carry the weight of old gum. But it's almost like, could Hannah use that as a blush? You make me speechless. Celebrating their 10-year anniversary, the Dark Matter palette, inspired by their OG Dark Matter stack, their first 4-shade stack, now in a 12-shade palette. That is ugly. The cover of that, the front of that palette that's ugly. Also, I don't know. What is Mel doing? SOS. Please, someone help me. It's not healthy for me to feel. It's actually like a pretty color story, but also it's just like, I don't know. I don't really like Melt's formula, so it couldn't be me. But also, even if the colors aren't the same, but like every Melt palette looks the same for me. Like they all are like, it's like the same thing. They're always the same thing. In my brain, it's like there's the Melt palette and that's all of them look like that in my brain. And so does that one. It's just now in circles. This year's a little bit different, right? So I talked about the Bi Pride Chrome Flakes from Denona Myricks, and I said, is this the year that we want to celebrate bi people in our makeup items? And I said to the bisexuals out there, I'm not gunning for you. I do think you deserve representation. You deserve that, you bisexual little cutie. You deserve to be seen by makeup brands. I do believe that. However, this year, it's not about the bisexuals. Now, I don't know when this Chrome Flake went into production. It seems like a product that's probably pretty easy to manufacture once you're like, I want blue and pink shifty goop. It doesn't seem hard to make that happen. Like, I don't know how to do that, but I feel like Denona Myricks sort of knows how to do that. She did that. But trans people are under attack in a very like real and scary way in the United States right now. And I don't know that anyone could have foreseen that last year. I mean, people did, and you were warned. But here we are anyway. I've seen a couple things. Definitely less people jumping on the Pride bandwagon this year. And why they're not jumping on the bandwagon? It's not as popular because the queer people are falling out of favor with the general public, which isn't even true, by the way. But these really loud minority people, this like loud minority of people who are like, trans people, they're the ones who are like winning, and the brands are like catering to them because they like don't want to hear it. And listen, I relate. When I worked in Sephora during COVID, when people wouldn't just like wear their masks like we asked them to because it was like a store policy at the time, they would yell at us and you just like didn't want to fight them anymore, and it just was like annoying. It's tough, but being an ally is not easy. So these pussy-ass brands are not doing Pride or are not, changing their logos, which is a very easy thing to do. Maybe people in your comments are going to be like, I'm not going to support this woke company. Let me tell you something, Joe. These companies haven't done much for me personally, and they're still not doing much for people, even when they participate in this pink washing situation. I've heard it called pink washing. I don't know that I agree with that because I thought pink washing was like when like the pink tax. I thought that was, anyway, they're calling it pink washing. I'm going to use it for shorthand. So this pink washing thing is happening. So these brands are saying that they're going to make a Pride collection. Some brands donate money. That's a vague amount of money, of proceeds, net, gross. They say these words, Now, I know the difference between net profit and gross profit. Do you? And it's okay if you don't, and you shouldn't have to. I mean, when was the last time anyone actually looked at their paycheck? Most people don't even get physical paychecks. It just goes into your account. And I know a lot of people who have had long series of mess ups with their paychecks without even knowing because they haven't looked at them. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, here's my plea. Check your paychecks every now and then. Make sure you're getting paid what you're supposed to. But beyond that, net, gross, 5%. 5% of what? 5% of just this product, 5% of total sales across your company. What does that mean? Also, you know how whenever like a small creator says that they're going to donate money from a live stream, it's like, if you donate during this live stream, all of the stuff, all the money I make is going to get donated to a charity, X charity. And you know how if the small creator doesn't later post a receipt of donation to the company, people lose their minds about it. I don't know that I've ever seen a brand tell me how much money they donated to whatever charities they said they were going to donate to during Pride Month. Has there ever been a follow-up? What does that mean? Now, I had a fellow creator tell me how much Danessa Myricks was donating for, and I'm just using this as an example. By the way, it's like not a Danessa Myricks specific problem. The number needed to be further explained because people were getting mad, and the thing is, I think that they were actually donating more money than it perceived to be whenever someone hears the term 5%. Again, of what? How much money is that? Why are we only doing it this month of the year? I realize that it's Pride Month. However, we exist all of the time, and so do Black people, and so do so many other people who are minority situations that are being attacked by society at large. There's so many of us. And so, like, be an ally all year round. I don't need it just this month. I need you to do it knowing that people are going to come for your neck because you're supporting a minority group that they want off. You have to make the commitment. If you're going to do this, do it. Now let's talk about the actual products. It's always a rainbow, isn't it? I don't want to see another goddamn rainbow Pride collection. I don't want to see a trans flag Pride collection. I don't like rainbow makeup, and I am queer. And if I am your target market for these products that you are releasing, I don't like them. Also, there are so many interesting things that you could do. Now, I jokingly said on my Instagram that you could do a bury your gaze trope palette. Now, if you don't know what the bury your gaze trope is, it's like whenever a piece of media, a book, a film, they say that like they have inclusivity, but then the person who is queer in that media is killed off in a dramatic fashion just to make you cry. But it was never about the representation of queer people. It was just like baiting queer people to read it and then having us go through the turmoil of the only queer character in the media dying. So I thought that'd be like a really funny palette. Now, is that dark? Is that like maybe a little too cynical? Should Danessa Myricks do a bury your gay palette? Should any brand? No, they shouldn't. But I think it's funny. And if you want to collab with me and come up with that, I'm available. Any brand. We could donate all the money. Doesn't matter to me. That sounds funny. But there are so many other ways to like represent queer people. You're just like choosing the flags as the only thing that we seem to want to wear. I know that there are so many people who love bright, colorful looks. Maybe bandana coated. I don't know. There's so many things that we use colors in so many ways. Did you know that on the rainbow flag that each one of the colors of the rainbow is a specific thing? So you could do a green collection and it could be just about the color green, and you could talk about all the things, which I think is nature, the color green in the rainbow flag, the pride flag. There you go. Then it's not a rainbow. Also, collaborate with queer people. During, like, if you're gonna go this route and only sell to queer people during the month, you could collaborate with Kim Petras. And I'm not saying that's like the best idea, because I think collaborating with celebrities is like almost never the way to go. But there are a lot of queer content creators, large and small, that you could work with anytime, but you could definitely do it during June. You could work with them and have whatever you release with them during June. And then that way I know if I'm buying that collab that queer person is getting some money, and hopefully a fair amount of money, because I hope you're doing this in a fair way, which I'm sure that it's not, because we all remember what happened to Nikki Tutorials. Also, don't buy from ColourPop, because they really don't care about queer people, and they showed their whole ass last year. They keep putting on the facade as if they do, but they don't. So don't buy it from ColourPop. I think the people that have handled it the best was ritual to fee. They donated money. I don't know if they showed us a receipt about how much money they donated, but they're a queer women-owned brand. And they were like, we don't want to do that. So for the next 2 days, we'll donate 100% of our net profits. 100% of net profits sounds a lot better than 5% of a big amount of profits. I don't know. I understand that a little bit better. Fuck everyone this pride. Okay, Isamaya, our friend and yours and mine, is releasing the Industrial 2.0 collection. What? You had 2 ideas? You've run out of ideas? We're already going back to the first idea? What are you doing? What is your brand? You don't even know. I'm guessing that the Industrial collection sold better than the Wild West collection. They're like, well, let's just go back to what we already know works. Pathetic. Cowardly. I don't even care what's in this collection. I'm sure there will be stuff that aesthetically I'm into this collection because I liked the Industrial collection the first time it came around. But what is your brand? You talked all this talk about it being this brand that like every season was going to be a new release and it was going to be like hyper individualistic and very different from the last release. We made it through 2 of those before you had to go back to the first one. No, I think the idea of revisiting a collection that was successful is a good idea. Let's do that in 5 years. But you haven't even gotten that far from this. If your original intention was that these things aren't going to be available forever and you can still buy the original Industrial palette, what is your brand? What are you doing? You do not know, and I do not care. I don't even care what this is going to look like. This is just, I don't care. I don't care. Try harder, because you're not. So the last time we talked was at the end of June, and it was before this collection had been revealed. But Isamaya launched the Industrial 2.0. I'll refer you back to my other video to hear my thoughts before I even saw it. But my thoughts are the same. Steph, you might, at some point in the future, see me wearing this. And that story is not for today's video. It's for that video. So you'll just have to, subscribe. Lauren Mercier. Lauren Mercenary. Lauren Mercenary. What are you doing? What is that? It's a pointer now. It's a point. Oh, wait. I have a pointer. Lauren Mercier. What are you doing? What is this? This is something for a car that all of the girlies who do eyeshadow close-ups, this is what they use. I forget what it's called, but if you want one, I paid $4 for this on eBay. Shipping is included. You don't deserve to be called your real name, Lauren, because you're doing this. Liquid highlighter does not have to look like this. I don't want it to look like this anymore. Liquid highlighter, it doesn't have to look like this. Auric doesn't look like the Glow Dust doesn't look like this. Doesn't come in a squeezy tube. It is getting pathetic. It's been pathetic. I thought it was pathetic when Elf was doing it. It was even more pathetic when Tarte's doing it. But Lauren, have some self-respect. The Barbaras of Tarte, don't expect them to have any self-respect. None, no respect from them. I have no respect for them. But Lauren, how the mighty have fallen, Lauren. Try harder next time, Lauren. Fail. Bad. Ew. Gross. Don't buy this. That is the Rose Glow liquid highlighter from Laura Mercier. Comes in 3 colors. Who cares? Paco Rabanne is launching makeup. No, I don't. No, I don't want that. Do you want that? I don't want that. No. Isn't Paco Rabanne like a fragrance house? Bad fragrances? That's what I think of. Bad fragrances. Bad makeup. Not interested. Bas Blue Cosmetics launched the 4 Seasons Face Color Collection. You could buy them individually for $25 or all of them for $100, which I don't even think is a deal because I think there's only 4, so. Okay. Winter Blue Color Corrector, brightening the under eye area with a cool toned finish. Autumn Bronzer, a cool tone shade that will add depth and definition to your face. Spring Powder Blush, and a Summer Highlighter. Now, I don't know a lot about Bas Blue Cosmetics, but let me tell you something. There is no world where I would recommend anyone to buy this. It's like 4 very specific things for very specific skin tones. I don't quite understand what the point of it is. I could see people buying the blue thing and using it as a blush. I really don't know what to make of this. I don't even want to commend them for trying. We are in a space of makeup where everything's kind of been done. And what do we do to make things feel fresh? Hi brands, listen to me. I have an idea for you. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel or chase a trend, make something really good. Even if it's something that another brand has on the market, make it better. And you doesn't, listen to me, this is very important. What I'm about to say to you, it does not have to look like that other successful thing. It doesn't have to be packaged like that. It doesn't have to feel like you're duping someone into buying it because it kind of looks like the other thing that they thought that they wanted. And now you think that they're just going to buy your thing. No. No, no, no. Just make really good products. I think we've all lost the plot. It's either people are really making boring things where it's just like neutrals, neutrals, neutrals all the time. I mean, not to say that everyone's failing at that. It's just like so many neutrals, like whatever. Like I feel like that's where we're at because we're like much more into skin. That's like the trend. Trend is skin. Skin is in. And I love that trend. I prefer, like, eyeshadow's not my favorite thing. Put out colors that people haven't put out. If you would have said, if Bas Blue Cosmetics would have said, this is a blush, this blue, if they would have come in and said that's a blue blush. There's not a lot of blue blushes on the market. That'd be pretty cool. But you call it a color corrector. And like a powder color corrector, again, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't listen to me. If you make good things, we will buy them. But you're all making half-assed things, and none of us want to buy them. And I think because less people are buying makeup, and you continue to put out makeup at a certain pace, I'm talking about all brands, not just Bas Blue Cosmetics. We keep throwing things at the wall, no one's buying them, because we can see that you aren't really trying that hard. Why? At this point in time, when this video goes up, where inflation is so high, student loans we're going to start repaying them again. People have to be very concerned about money because at any given point, like one little slip up with money could ruin your life for years to come. Why should I waste my hard-earned money on your half-baked products? Not you. I'm not talking about you. I love you. I do not want them. And this from Bas Blue is like, we're just gonna be kooky crazy. And like, that's like the best that they could come up with. Like, here's a bronzer, here's a blue thing. It's like they had, it's like almost in my brain, it's like they had leftover blue eyeshadow from a previous release and they were like, grind up that pigment, put it in a bigger pan, call it a color corrector. And like one blush, the fun part about blush, when there's more than one shade, you get to like look at them and you get to go, ooh, which one? Which one do I want? Which one is one that speaks to me? Ooh, I've heard this formula so good. Do I want the peach one? And like you can come up with some nuanced colors. That's, the nuance is where you can really get people. There's brands like Phytosurgeons. They're going to be releasing bronzers. There's like no timeline for it, but they like sneak peeked the 12 shades Bas Blue, 12 shades of bronzer, and every other brand, 12 shades of bronzer, an indie brand, 12 bronzers, nuanced shades. It explains how the shades are going to work, which ones you might want based on your preferences. That's what we're looking for. Every single person I follow that's into makeup that is aware of Phytosurgeons, when Phytosurgeons made this post, shared it in their stories, and said they were so excited for it. The last time I saw that happen? For good reason. Everyone shares stuff to talk shit on it. I couldn't tell you the last time everyone in my feed shared this one specific thing to praise it. And then Bas Blue's over here going like, blue powder color corrector. I don't know how many people asked for that, but we're going to make it anyway. Phytosurgeons is thinking, listening, seeing what people are saying on the internet. It's not hard. Now, I do think that maybe as a brand owner, one could spiral pasta a little bit. If you're listening too much to people on the internet, there does have to be a boundary drawn. And I don't know how to walk through brand owners because I have to do that with my YouTube channel, and that is hard stuff. The broader conversations, it doesn't have to be direct conversations, but if you're paying attention to the broader conversations in makeup, as a brand owner, you might be able to make something that people are asking for because we've all been asking for bronzers and a bunch of different undertones. Wow. It doesn't feel hard, especially when you have so much money to pour into all of your products. I don't understand. In my Instagram, the second that it was released, so many messages, so many tags about this particular launch. Matricia said, let's give them nothing. So Auntie Pat, not Mother, she's been demoted. In case you weren't aware, on this channel, she's been demoted. She's no longer Mother. She's Auntie Pat, has released Mothership 11, and it is called Sunlit Seduction. I want to talk to the Pat McGrath fans. The people who, whenever I say what I say about the brand, have things to say back to me. Try to defend the brand. Are you a Patricia I'm gonna getcha fan? Are you? So you said yes. My follow-up question is, as a Pat McGrath fan, and holding Pat McGrath on this higher standard, better than all the other brands. So innovative, so great. We love Pat McGrath. We love Patricia. So good. Never thought of color stories. Have you, as a Pat McGrath fan, ever looked at another brand, any brand, and thought every time that brand put out an eyeshadow palette, you thought to yourself, wow, it's just the same thing that they released. It could be Too Faced, it could be Morphe, it could be literally any brand. And you thought to yourself, that's the same thing that they've released that 17 times already. Yeah, guess what? Patricia is also doing that. This is a mild variant on the last, what Divine Rose, what was the first one? That was number 7. Divine Rose 2 is number 8. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. For the past 5, and I'm only counting the motherships. I'm not even including the quads. But let's talk about those too. Here's a lovely picture that someone sent me, which I think they sourced from the Beauty Guru Chatter. I think that someone from there put this together. I don't want to go without crediting the person who collaged this. Everything Pat McGrath has done as far as eyeshadow goes for the past, since Divine Rose came out, has been a variation on pink, whether it's a more saturated or a desaturated, a cool toned, a warm leaning, or a neutral. They are all pink. Thing that a lot of the earlier palettes had going for them, so everything from the first one to number 8, they had the baked shades. Now, some people don't like the baked shades, and that's absolutely okay. But at least there was something to be like, this is different. Not a lot of brands are doing like baked eyeshadows with like, intention, like with crazy flips and flaky and textured, which again, not everyone's into that. I'm very into that. I don't own any of the eyeshadow palettes that don't have the baked shades on the right. In fact, I just made my own quote-unquote special shades palette. People still like the formula with those new shades over there. They find them easier to use. I don't think Pat McGrath's eyeshadow formula without the baked shades in the motherships is worth anyone's time. Even if those were the best shimmer shades on the far right 4 that I have ever touched, which I don't believe. I don't like Pat McGrath's mattes. Also, if I was continuing to buy Pat McGrath, I already have the mattes available in this palette. I already have them because she's already released them. She's released them. She's duping herself at this point. She's just doing the same stuff over and over again. And I can understand and appreciate from a marketing standpoint that when you release really easy color stories for people to get their head around, that you sell more eyeshadow palettes. However, the problem is you've got us all, like you got us when you first started the brand. You were releasing colors and textures in luxury formulas and luxury packaging, which is like stuff that we did not get to experience before. That's how you got us. Bold. Your whole tagline is use without caution. And that made a lot of sense whenever you had like very fun, interesting color stories going for you that you were making and encouraging us to explore color and texture without the fear of like it looking bad or whatever. Just use it. Your slogan has changed. The meaning behind it has changed. It says use without caution on the back of these Mothership palettes. And it's like, well, yeah, because you put any of those colors on your eyes, it's going to look fine. Because they all go. Like they're all like, there's no intention because it's just like rose, mauve, pink. It's just lame. It's just, there's like no thought behind it. I understand that she probably makes a lot more money on these palettes now than she ever did on the original 6. I can't imagine still being a Pat McGrath fan. And this is like not judgment to people who still are. That I've waited every year, because it does seem that she only does one a year now, that I wait once a year for Pat McGrath in the summertime. It does seem always to be in the summertime. Release her Mothership. And I have to pretend to be excited about this. Like I have to be excited about this. This is what she's given us. It's not even the first time. She's already done it. We've already seen it. She's already given this to us. She's given it to us 100 times, 100 million, bajillion times. Like there is no point to buying Pat McGrath anymore. You choose how you navigate the makeup space. But she's not offering anything that I can't get from somewhere else, formula-wise, right? Like, I like other formulas better. Pat McGrath sometimes offers packaging that's unparalleled in the makeup industry. Like those Mothership palettes, there's not a lot of eyeshadow palettes that feel like that in your hands. They're really weighty. They feel really good. They feel super luxury. It's not worth it if what's inside isn't meeting the standard of what's on the outside. I don't want it. Let me phrase that. It's not even don't even want it. I just don't want to see it anymore. It was really funny because I didn't even know she was launching a Mothership because I had unfollowed her because I'm just not interested. So I didn't see it until I was tagged in it. And then once I was tagged in it, all of the launch places we're sharing the photo. It's pathetic. But you're like, you've left behind your original audience, and that's really sad. And you never do anything for them. Like, you give them crumbs. You don't even give them crumbs. You give them like nothing. You simply give them nothing. I just don't care about this brand anymore. And they're not really doing anything to make me change my mind. And that's on them. That's not on me. They did that. Let's talk about her. Let's talk about eyeshadow for a second. I almost just knocked down everything. The wire on my microphone. Don't. I just had the thought, I need a wireless microphone. I recently was talking to Kackie, and Kackie was like, you have a lot of microphones. And I said, I do. I do love the sound of my own voice. Talk about the eyeshadow palette. This is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. A cool toned palette with 15 new nude shades in a matte metallic sparkling fold. I have avoided all of the reviews on this, and I'll tell you why. I am tempted. Natasha sometimes get the makeup monster inside of me going for some eyeshadows. I really like Natasha Denona's eyeshadow formula. It's one of my favorite formulas, and I do think that with the addition of the new shimmer shades that they had in the Yucca palette, they're like on their way to like figuring out some beautiful textures for us, and I really love that. I love being a boring Bessie with my eyeshadow. I do. I'm an Anne. Inside, I'm an Anne. So this, if you don't know what I mean by I'm an Anne, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Go watch some Teresa's Dead. Anyway. Are you new here? She, stunning. A neutral palette with like the new shimmers from Natasha Denona. Very appealing. And it seemed to get into the minds a lot of my friends on Instagram. A lot of people bought this. I don't know why I said that like that. And I didn't do another take. So that's the take. Am I the only one who didn't? I felt a little lonely on my little island. Now, I did post on my Instagram. I said, ooh, I want to go to there. And I stand by that. Like, I do think this is a really beautiful palette. Someone took the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette and held it up next to the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. Oh, I have it. I already have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. And even without the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette, I probably have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. And it's back to that conversation where it's like, do I have the exact things? Probably not. But do I have something where I could do everything in there? Yeah. And like, even removing the ethereal eyes, would it take a little bit of like going into a couple of palettes? Sure. But I have it. Like, I have that, especially with the ethereal eyes. And I was one of the few people who ended up getting their hands on the ethereal eyes palette from Makeup by Mario. That they said limited edition, and they meant it. And honestly, I respect it. And Chanel was trying to do that to me, and I didn't mind it when Makeup by Mario did it because I got mine. But when Chanel did it, I didn't like it very much. I didn't really care for it. I'm lucky enough to have the Ethereal Eyes palette, and I love it. I used it today. I didn't use all of it today. Some of it's the Isamaya palette, so I used 2 palettes to do my eye look today. So what is this gonna bring me that I don't already have? And it would just be another eyeshadow palette. And you know what? I told you already in this video, I'm not really in the market for like new eyeshadows. So it's like, you got me, Natasha, but you didn't get my money. That's a win for my wallet. I spent what I would have spent on this Natasha Denona palette on a blush from Chanel. Ooh. Patrick Tarte, the Major Dimensions 3 matte eyeshadow palette. Cool and warm tones, matte and cream formulas, all in one palette. $70. I have a question for you. This is a real question. How many people do you know personally or watch on YouTube or follow on Instagram or TikTok? How many people do you know that have used the Patrick Tarte eyeshadow palettes past their prime content-wise? Who's pulling out those palettes and being like, this is my favorite thing. I use it all the time. I abandon it. I don't think I know one person who is that excited about Patrick Tarte eyeshadows. So I think it's like brave and bold and beautiful that Patrick Tarte's like, I can release a matte eyeshadow palette for $70 and people will think that's worth their money. I have spent more than $70 before all this inflation nonsense on an all matte eyeshadow palette. I bought the cool toned mattes from Viseart, and I really like that palette because I really like Viseart eyeshadows. And there are a lot of people who really like Viseart eyeshadows. So I'm not the only person, right? Like, if you heard that I liked Viseart eyeshadows, but I was the only person who was like, paying $80 for this eyeshadow palette felt worth it to me. But like, I feel like no one, after people like review this palette, or I feel like the best I've seen about his eyeshadows are that they're fine, and the worst I've seen is everyone decluttered them. Like, I don't know. I just feel like no one cares about these. And I just think that going with an all matte eyeshadow palette, whenever your formula isn't absolutely raved about is a mistake. I would recommend so many more before buying this one from Patrick Ta. Like I previously mentioned Viseart, a little more expensive for their 15 pan, but worth it. And you get a lot of product in them. I'm not saying that you don't get a lot of product from Mr. Ta, but you get a lot of product in Viseart shadows. So also, if you're a quantity person where you're like, you will use that matte, those mattes, and those will be your only mattes, they'll last you a while if you're going to go Viseart. Makeup by Mario has the matte palette. I really like Makeup by Mario eyeshadows, so I could see that being a good option. I'm okay with companion palettes, but I wouldn't buy mine from Patrick Ta. And his packaging leaves something to be desired for me personally. And it's like the kind of packaging that's like so shiny. Like the second you touch it, there's fingerprints all over it. And then it's like, ugh, it's ugly now, you know? It's a pass for me, but maybe you're more excited about it. But like, yeah, it's like, unless you released your eyeshadows and everyone on the planet said that that was the best formula, I would really love to have a bunch of neutral mattes from you in one eyeshadow palette. I think we've like missed the mark about maybe what the consumers want. But I'm also probably wrong because this is not the only all matte neutral eyeshadow palette that we're gonna be talking about today. Kosas, what are you doing, babes? What are you doing? What are you doing? So let me read this first. So Kosas is releasing the new undressed talc-free neutral eyeshadow palette. 7 matte shades, 1 shimmer shade. Neutral shades for no makeup look to full glam. I don't know about that. Infused with cucumber fruit extract to soften and soothe, vegan, cruelty-free, and come in recyclable packaging. That looks like it should cost $10. I would never pay $40 for something that looks like that. Here's what I will say. I love that we are paying more attention to packaging and the environment. And one thing about cardboard is that because it's, you can recycle it pretty easily. Paper is pretty easily recyclable. So that is probably why they chose to go this route. There are obviously other things that we think of like glass and, you know, like metals, but those are heavier to ship. And that's also part of, you know, sustainability. Anyway, I think a good way to get a good idea on what it's like to understand sustainability from a business, like a business owner's perspective. Samantha Ravindal, I don't know which video it is, but there's a video on her channel where she talked about creating Auric, went through this the whole thing about how to be sustainable, and like kind of what they learned in that is that like it's really hard to be sustainable. Like you can use glass packaging, but then it's heavier and then you're using more emissions to ship that glass. It's like a whole to do. That's why I don't really always touch on it, but I would say that's probably why they went this route for reusable packaging. However, it doesn't have to look like that. There are other brands that use cardboard packaging and do really beautiful, cool things with it. It doesn't have to look like, you know, like it doesn't have to look like this. I think Kosas is trying to punk us. I do. Listen, hold on. When they started, they had like a vision that I understood. It felt a little clinical, but now it feels like makeup for children. It looks like makeup for children. This looks like you could buy it for $10 at the drugstore. And if I was only paying $10 for it, I don't think I'd be mad about it. But I would never pay $40 for this. Also, $40 in Sephora is like on the lower end, but it's also 8 shades. There are other eyeshadows that are talc-free. So it's like, I don't think that's a brag. I understand that they're a brand probably trying to fall into that clean nonsense that I don't like align with because I think it's fear-mongering. But anyway, I get that it's talc-free, but there are like other powders, there are other brands that make things that are talc-free. It's like, don't brag about it, just do it. The people who are worried about the talc will look at your ingredients and figure out that yours does not have talc. But you're like celebrating it as if that's special, but there's like so many brands who like have talc-free powders, so get over it. It's the Christmas of Anne's, I guess. All we get is brown. Would you like this brown palette? Or would you like this brown palette? Or would you like this brown palette? I'm famously not really into eyeshadow palettes right now, but I'm more of like a shimmer girl. Like I use mattes to build out a look for sure. When I look at an eyeshadow palette, I do want more shimmers than mattes or a half and half. 7 mattes, 1 shimmer is just the matte they mathin' for me. That's personal though. I can't say that's like a real dig at this. Like that's just my personal preference. Like this is safe from getting my money. Like I'm not interested. This I think is actually objectively a bad release. I feel like what even Patrick Ta did was like more thought out than like this. And also I still wouldn't do this one. I still wouldn't do the Patrick Ta one. I would go for the Danessa Myricks one. If you are doing this, if this is what you're in the market for right now, and I don't own the Danessa Myricks one, I have not tried it. But if I was going to take a gamble I would go with the Denona Myrick's one. I just think it has better shades. It looks like it's going to be able to do more for you. I think that's it. Because the browns in that palette are different. There's different undertones. You can see it just from the imagery that those are not all just like straight browns. This is different levels of browns. The Patrick Ta is just like different levels of browns. No shift in undertone. It's just like is brown. Brown, 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 cream, brown, brown and cream. I can't believe Kosas has the audacity to not only release this and make it look like this, and then also ask you for $40 US. No, 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 don't buy it. This next thing, baby, they're doing something right. Hermes has a couple of shades coming out in their lipstick formula in the most beautiful lipstick packaging that I have ever seen. Rouge Hermes, a shiny lipstick. Dark colored hue leaves a subtle translucent film on the lips, designed by Pierre Hardy. It is made from a lacquered, polished, and brushed metal. And I think these are refillable. So there's Rouge Abyss, which is a burgundy with a touch of cobalt blue, Prune Noir, a plum purple with hints of pink, and then Rouge Bruni, which was a strong brick red. Listen, in my last video, I applied black lipstick and I was like, ooh, I haven't worn a bitchy lip in so long. I love a bitchy lip. These don't look super saturated when you scroll to the models, so maybe it's more of like a balm with like a sheer balm, which I'm into. I can get down with. $78. And maybe I have tried to buy lipsticks that were this expensive or more expensive before. No, I say tried. It doesn't mean I tried and failed. It's like gone through the process of adding them to cart. So I've added a Guerlain lipstick and a case to my cart, which makes it very expensive. There's the one brand with the really strange name that I can't think of right now. Blah, 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 blah. Dries Van Noten. I've added Dries Van Noten to and again, it's like a beautiful packaging, refillable. This is the most beautiful lipstick packaging that I have ever seen. I want the packaging. Now, the lipsticks I would wear, or the lip balms or whatever these are, these shiny lipsticks, I would wear them, but that's not why I'd be buying them. This packaging is so pretty. Now, I've never interacted with Hermes Beauty, and I kind of got excited when Hermes was like gonna make products, and then like kind of since they've started, I've just been like, I've lost interest in, but they kind of got me. They got me, gal. I think these are really pretty. Am I gonna buy an Hermes lipstick? No. And I don't think I have to be the one to talk most of you out of a $78 lipstick. Specifically, if this is more of a sheer balm formula, I'm certainly not the one who should have to talk you out of a $78 balm. But what I will say is it's very appealing. It's very appealing. These luxury brands this fall, they're like tapping into something. Maybe. I don't know who runs these beauty houses, but it may be the people who are like the marketing departments. Because I even think this about the Equinox de Chanel. They were like, millennials love fall. These pumpkin spice girlies, let's get them. And they're doing a really good job. The Equinox de Chanel marketing photos, my heart like pitter patter. And then when I saw them on the white background, I liked them less. Now this blush is from the Equinox de Chanel. It is. So I fell for it. But like a $78 lipstick, I'm not gonna buy it. You should. No one needs a $78 lipstick. You can do whatever you want with your money. But I will say is that this Hermes, applause to you. If you keep this kind of stuff up with your packaging and your releases, there will come a day where I could see me buying something. You got the wheels turning in my brain with this release, but I'm not pulling the trigger. But will there probably be a day a year from now where I'm like, I'm ready to buy it. And like these are like limited edition. They're so beautiful. The packaging, the lipsticks are fine. The packaging's so beautiful. Ooh, they got me. Delicious. No, stop it. No, Essence. How dare you? Why would you do this to us? Essence released the Pink is New Black collection. I'm gonna give you mono, Essence. Why would you do this? Why is no one listening to us? Do they sell? Someone tell me. If you work in the makeup industry and you work for a brand that has color changing pH cosmetics, do they sell? Is that why everyone's making them? Tell me. Lipstick Queen is quaking in its grave. Does Lipstick Queen even still exist? I don't even know if it does. If they don't, that's a fucking shame, because everyone took the thing that they did the best and ran with it and are making so much money. Essence, how very fucking dare you? A whole line. So maybe I should explain what's going on here in case you happen to not know. Products like this, where it's like this one color, but then you put it on and it's pink. Like there's pH adjusters in it. And what pH adjusters seemingly only seem to do is make a pink. And the brands will claim that it's like your perfect pink. It's just pink. It might be a little bit different than the pink that I get and the pink that the person next to you gets, and then maybe a different pink than a person who's like a different skin tone than you, but it's just pink. It's only pink. It's never not pink. I'm upset. Essence, keep it. This is crap. I hate this. The only people who I could think of that this would amuse is a child. And I'm really okay with the idea of pH makeup being like a children's thing. Stop trying to sell it to adults. Okay, and I know I'm old and I know I have mono, but you gotta stop this. Stop! Oh, I hate it. Please, oh my God, make them go away. I never want to see another pH changing adjusting product ever again. And listen, let me make it very clear, if this is your favorite kind of product, if this is what you live for, this is the stuff of your dreams, get your life. Go get the pink is the new black. The black is the new pink collection from Essence, and I hope you love it. And I hope you squeal with joy every time there's a black streak on your face and then it turns into pink and you go, wee! I want you to know that I think you're wrong. I don't actually think you're wrong. I really want you to have the most fun you can have. And if this is what fun in makeup is for you, then enjoy it. I don't know what this is, but I hate it. Jelly Lip Melt Treatment in Hot Cocoa. Okay, so they're like in little... These are by Tony Moly. I hate jelly. I hate Jell-O. I hate gelatin. Okay? Now, gelatin being in some things isn't bad, but I don't like things that wiggle. Why does it do that? I don't think food should wiggle like that. Like, why? Like, who did that? Also, like, how did we end up with gelatin? Because isn't gelatin, like, forced byproduct? I'm just saying, and listen, I'm not one to be up here saying I eat meat, right? I'm not trying to be holy that. But it's like, who figured that out? And then why are we eating that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm joking, by the way. If you like gelatin, I'm just like a thought process here. I'm repulsed by this. I don't want any of my cosmetics to be jelly. No, not like Jell-O. No, and it's in a mold. I hate it. Tony Moly's whole thing is like cutesy wootsy, but like I can't. Not that. It's grossing me out. I hate it. This is from Patrick Ta. He released, these are already available. People already have them. I see reviews popping up left and right of this. There is the new face and eye palette, which I want to talk about. There's also a plumping gloss, but let's talk about this palette. So this palette has 4 blushes, and then it's like in his traditional format with the creams and the powders. And then there are 4 topper eyeshadow shades on the left-hand side. I had to get all my biases about face palettes and eye palettes and face eye palettes out of the way right now. For me, in the way that I utilize makeup, this ain't make any goddamn sense for me to have. I like my blushes. I don't like face palettes. I've lamented this so many times on my channel before, where it's just like, is it going to work for all people of all skin tones? Did you only make one? Whatever. I don't really think that's a problem for this one, because I feel like, and I could be speaking out of line here, I feel like these pink blushes would work on like a lot of skin tones. Maybe not all, but a lot, especially the creams. Patrick Ta has only gotten me on lipstick so far. Other than that, Patrick Ta has like, I don't care what Patrick Ta's doing, because it feels expensive, but and for what? You know, like expensive and for what? Like, what am I getting out of that expense? Because again, I just feel like everything I've heard about what he has put out is like mid at best. I think the things that have done the best review-wise from what I've seen have been the blushes. So, okay, the first year that Patrick Ta did one of these blush palettes, now it didn't have eyeshadows in it, went over really well. People were really excited about it, and I'm fairly certain that a couple of the shades that were limited edition in that palette eventually got brought out as like permanent in the line. Last year's face palette did really bad. People did not like it. It was not good. People were like 0 out of 10, not a fan, do not buy. And I feel like this is like comeback queen. He's like, look what I can do. You know what I mean? Like, and then he released this. I am repulsed by this. I gotta tell you. It's not even my bias against pink, because as you may know, I don't wear pink. Merch down below. You can get your own I don't wear pink sweatshirt that is pink. And we all know that I actually really am okay with pink, but like, you know, I don't like pink, you know? Anyway, so it's not even that. It's just like, why? Because Patrick Ta, if you had released a quad of these sparkly eyeshadows, I would have bought it in less than a second. I would have been like, oh, I want to know what that's about. But now I don't, because I don't want 4 blushes to come with it, because I don't like having my blushes picked for me in a palette. I'm never going to use all of them. I don't think I would like his system with the powder and the creams. Blah, 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 blah. I am not one who layers blush. Now, there's people who are so into that. I'm not one of those people, so that doesn't work for me. So you've lost me. I'm paying $65 for 4 eyeshadows, which I would pay $65 for 4 eyeshadows, by the way. I'm not saying that's what he should price that as, is if he ever releases a quad. I really wish these were released as singles, because I'm interested in them, because I'm like, oh, what's that about? Like, I want to know more about that. I love a sparkly topper. I love sparkles, you know? Like, that's a gig I can get into. I'm not going to do this. I wouldn't buy this. But also just like, I don't understand the practicality of this. Of course, one could put a shimmer shadow all over their eye, a shimmer topper, and be like, that's a whole look. One could, but I do feel as though these are the kind of eyeshadows that you're going to want to build a little bit before you put them on. And then I can't do that with this palette. Now, if you buy Patrick Ta's matte neutral palette, I could see doing them in tandem, but like, I don't want that. I want a fully realized thought. This feels like 2 half thoughts that were smashed together and being sold to me as a whole thought. And I don't like that. Like, I don't see the vision of this. And I'm sure if I heard Patrick Ta talk about why he did this format for this, maybe I would understand it a little bit more. But my brain and the way that I use makeup looks at that and says, that's the most impractical thing that I could ever buy. I don't like it. I think the packaging is pretty. I am excited by those toppers inside, but I'm not buying this. I would never buy this. Like, I just don't think I would buy this. If it came my way for review, like if Patrick Ta or, I don't know, a friend of mine bought it, used it, and wants to hear my thoughts on it, and like they're done with it, they send it my way to hear what I think about it, I guarantee I would use it for a little bit of time, and then I would be like, I don't want to use this ever again. Not because it's bad quality. I'm not trying to say that it's bad quality. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I won't know. I simply will not know. I will use it, get to know it, and be like, this is still impractical to me. I'm going to give this away. Like, that's exactly what would happen. Whether it was sent to me in PR or otherwise, it's like, this is not something that I see high use value in. And at this point, what I'm deciding to purchase has to have high use value in it. And I have to think that before I buy it. And like, this does not check off that box at all. Gucci is doing a holiday collection, but it's their bronzer with a limited edition packaging. It looks like only 2 of the shades according to Trend Mood, which I'm not coming for her gig. You know, she does a lot of work, but like sometimes we don't get the full story on Trend Mood. $37.50 for that Gucci concealer. But it says fair and medium. And there's only 2 in the picture. I went to Sephora.com just to see what was going on with these bronzers and if they're only available in that limited edition packaging in fair and medium. And it turns out that is truthful. So fair comes in this packaging and medium comes in this packaging, but the other shades were just left out. I don't know why, but they made a choice. Gucci's bronzer range, I'm not saying it's the most vast, but it is more vast than 2. In fact, I say this a lot, is that when it comes to luxury, Gucci is one of the brands who really seems to make an attempt to be as inclusive as possible, but it would really suck if their holiday pattern was only on 2 of the shades. It's kind of cute, but like, I just got one of these for free and I don't need it in a different package. There's also 3 lipsticks. I do not know if these are lipsticks that are already in their range. My guess is probably. Here's what I'll say. If you already have the Gucci bronzer, like if you already have it and you know you love it, you don't need it in that compact. If Gucci made refillable packaging, maybe then I would say, go for it. Because then you could just keep the limited edition packaging, refilling it. We have a little bit of a conversation though. When was the last time you used up a whole bronzer? Now I know that my usage is much different than yours and I have a lot of makeup. Even though I'm discerning, I know I still have like a large makeup collection. I don't think I have like a minimum, like even those of you who have 1 bronzer or 1 or 2 bronzers that you use every day, how long does it take you to use up a whole bronzer? And so the likelihood of you finishing a bronzer, it's like very slim, right? Even if it was refillable. Like I'm still talking about a theoretical here. If you already have this bronzer and it's not almost done and you really like it, then just keep using the one you got. The only thing that I could see this enticing is someone that was on the edge of maybe wanting to buy the Gucci bronzer. If this pattern speaks to you, if this is like enough to make you go get it, then I guess go get it. I like the Gucci bronzer. It's something, now that I have tried it, it's something that if I would have paid for it, which it was sent to me by a friend, if I would have paid for it, I wouldn't have been disappointed. I actually really quite like it. And that's coming from me. I have not liked every Gucci product that I've tried. In fact, I've disliked more than I have liked. All I'm saying is, like, maybe if you really like this pattern and you don't already have it, this could be worth it. But other than that, if you already have this bronzer or you were never interested in this bronzer, then now's not the time. Just because it has little hexagons on it, you know what I mean? Like, that's not enough of a reason for you to go out and buy this. Gucci girl, what are you doing? No Beauté palettes? No eyeshadow palettes this year? Weird. Where's the palette de beauté de you know, or whatever that you would call it. That's the first one. Just different packaging feels like a little bit lazy for a holiday release, if you ask me. Because if you did like a whole collection with new makeup in this cute packaging, you maybe would have got me. Let's talk about some PTSD. Okay, The Nightmare Before Christmas and Melt Cosmetics have collabed. It's like technically Disney, and they've released the Halloween Town collection. Not that Halloween Town, this Halloween Town. If you know, you know. Imagine if there was a Halloween Town collection. Not this Halloween Town, this Halloween Town. I think it would have been really funny. Inspired by Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. There's 8 pieces showcasing our favorite moments from our characters from Halloween Town. There's the eyeshadow palette for $60, 2 ultra matte lipsticks, $24 each, 2 gel liners, $24 each, and the True Love Never Dies digital dust highlight for $42, the Halloween Town mirror for $25, and the Halloween Town bag for $35. Also opt to buy the whole collection for $175. Don't know if any of this is still available, by the way. Their Halloween collections tend to do very well. There's the Halloween Town palette with Mr. Oogie Boogie. Mr. Oogie Boogie says there's trouble closing in. Well, what have we here? Santa Claus, I'm really scared. So this palette is literal, it's a nightmare. Like, it's a nightmare. And it's before Christmas. They got me. We've talked about how I'm, in real life, not the cleanest person, right? Messy room over there, clean room where you can see it. You, the internet. I keep this clean for you, not for me, for you. And for my mentality, and so that you don't judge me. Whenever there's negative space in an eyeshadow palette, it feels like you're not optimizing your space. And I'm not all about optimization, right? Sometimes it takes me all day to do a dish, like clean one dish, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, I don't need everything in my life to be optimized. But when I see this, I'm like, oh no, it's all crooked. And I think one side of the palette is smaller than the other side of the palette. And I hate that. I know some people collect makeup to look at. And I don't quite understand you, but you're welcome to do whatever you want. Like I said, you can navigate this beauty space however you'd like. And if you're a collector and that really resonates with you. But as someone who is trying to curate my collection more, whenever I see something that would not store well with my other things, and I definitely have some makeup that does not store well, Isamaya palettes, I'm looking at you. I definitely have some stuff where I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, and I don't know how to organize my life in order to, like, sufficiently. The fact that this, once it fit... Like, just the way I imagine it sitting in my drawer, I just see it and it makes me so angry. The color story, I don't know. I'm not really getting, like, Nightmare Before Christmas. There's a lot of saturation here, and that feels wrong. I see, like, some of the colors inspired by Mr. Oogie Boogie, but, like, also who else? Again, I feel that it's pretty hard to make a Halloween palette because I think it all should look like that Ghostface palette. And I see a Halloween palette that doesn't look like that Ghostface palette, and I'm like, I don't know if that's dark enough. And again, you know, like, I don't know that there's a perfect way. I'll know it when I see it. Like the Beetlejuice palettes that they did a couple years ago. Now, that was something to look at. That was a spectacle. And I think that the cover is lenticular, so, like, when you move it, like Mr. Oogie Boogie changes. It's not even really giving me, like, if you remove all of the nonsense around it and how this palette is made, and you put all of those shadows on a white background, and you show it to someone and be like, this is Nightmare Before Christmas inspired, I don't think that they would think that that's right. Like, I don't think that they would look at that and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't, because I don't think it does. So I think the palettes, whatever. And then the highlighter, it's like in this neon orange lucite compact. The highlighter itself looks pretty. It looks like every other champagne gold to pink shift highlighter that I've ever seen. So I don't know if you need it in the digital dust. Again, this feels like a makeup collector thing. Someone who doesn't want to use their makeup because you don't want to ruin that embossing because the embossing's cute. This vibrant orange, there wasn't colors like this in Nightmare Before Christmas. So I'm just a little bit confused. And I understand that orange pumpkin, but like it's been a while since I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas, but I don't remember like pumpkins being a main feature. And if they were not neon because there was nothing really neon in that movie because of the way that it was shot. I'm not really understanding it. And then there's 2 eyeliners. Now, I've heard only good things about these gel eyeliners from Melt. I heard they're very excellent. While I like gel eyeliner and I would like to explore it more, these are the shades. But I would say if I were to buy anything from this collection, it would be these 2 things the most, right? Like, it's like, okay, those are pretty. I really like that orange one. I like how deep it is. It's like, it's not like your typical bright orange. And then they have ultra matte lipsticks. I don't really like matte lipsticks. So like the word ultra matte just kind of scares me off. Anyway, I feel like I've also haven't heard good things about their formulas, but they are also in orange lucite, which is like, okay, whatever. And the only thing that is catching my eye is the color of that orange lipstick is a very pretty orange. But guess what? I already have it because I have Givenchy Brique and it's like looks like the same. So if you, although the last time I tried to link Givenchy Brique, I was still able to find it on Givenchy's website. Givenchy, je parle français, tu parles français. I'm very global. If Brique isn't available on Givenchy's website anymore and you were after it, this might be a good alternative. I can't speak to the formula. I really like Givenchy's Sheer Velvet Matte formula. I doubt I would like this one, but I can't say that for sure because I've never tried it. I don't think that this collection's a flop. I just feel like when I think of Melt and their creativity, I just think that this doesn't meet what I think of Melt and what they are capable of whenever they do a collab. In fact, I feel like Melt's missed the mark the last couple of releases that they've had. I expect more from them. It doesn't feel like well thought out to me, personally. The Oogie Boogie song is a bop though. Just throw that on sometimes. Like, even if it's not Halloween. Lunar Beauty is releasing the Siren Sunset collection, which has an eyeshadow palette, which let's just focus on the eyeshadow palette. Very pretty. Hey, Manny, delete a row. You too many rows. 3 rows is too many. You keep putting these neutral browns in all of your palettes because you're too afraid to commit to a color story. Manny, what I need you to do is like commit to a color story. You're giving people the option to chicken out. And I understand that yes, neutrals can be very useful while still doing a colorful look. They can help bring things in. They can help blend things out. I think that to me it looks messy. It's too many things. It's just too many shadows. It's too many shadows because I just imagine a bunch of people buying this because they're like, I'm gonna try color, and then they just use the neutral mattes in here. Push a color story. Pick a lane, stick to it. Because I think that you, Manny, I don't know you, Manny, but I know, you have the history that you have here on this platform, whatever. But I know that you're very talented and I know that you can see a vision through. I've interacted with your highlighter, very impressed by it. I've seen your packaging for your lipsticks. That looks really cool. I've heard from people in my comment section that your lipstick formula is excellent. I've heard that your lip gloss formula is really excellent. I mean, not that people don't like your eyeshadows, but what I need you to do is like commit to a bit because your Life's a Drag palette, it's like you think it's gonna be this really colorful thing, but it's like a bunch of neutrals in there too. Pick something, create a color story. Like, it's really pretty. This is really pretty. Like, I love the blues, I love the purples, I like everything that I'm seeing in here. I don't like that you've given people the option to chicken out. I also am distracted by the mattes. I'm very attracted to the actual color story that you created and not all the other nonsense that you have going around it. You can do it. Your palettes do not need to have that many rows. You do not need that many shades. You could start doing 10 pans and really think the color story through, create some really beautiful packaging, which you're really good at. You're really good at it. And I think people would eat that up. I just think right now your eyeshadows look like they are private labeled and like you paid an artist a lot of money to just like create the outside packaging. And I know you didn't. I know these are your own personal formulas. So stop making it look private labeled. Make it look like something I want to buy. Cut the fat. Okay? I know you can do it. Edit. I think this is really beautiful. I do think that it has too many shades in it. I don't really love blue eyeshadow, but I think this is very appealing. And I think that Manny does a good job most of the time. So I think he did a good job. I would not buy it though. I would also wouldn't recommend you to buy it too, because how many blue eyeshadow looks are you doing? Some people, there are those people who are like, I wear blue eyeshadow every day. I wear blue mascara with my blue eyeshadow with my blue eyeliner. But they draw the line at lipstick, and what's that about? Ew. The Recipe dropped the Watermelon Dew candle in collaboration with Mala, $24. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. Ew. Oh, it's so gross. Ooh. Sorry if any of you are triggered by that sound. I'm so sorry. I refuse to buy anything from Glow Recipe because it all smells like Jolly Ranchers. So if you've ever smelled a watermelon Jolly Rancher, you know exactly what this candle smells like. And I know that there are other cheaper candles that smell like watermelon Jolly Ranchers. So if you like the smell of watermelon Jolly Ranchers, get your Jolly Ranch somewhere else. Don't buy this. Not only that, I'm going to riff on this brand for a while. And I said it before, but there are more new people. There are more eyes here now since I talked about this. I hate that Glow Recipe makes all their stuff smell scent. I hate it. It doesn't matter the quality of their products because I know so many people love their products. When I worked at Sephora, people loved them. There are a lot of my peers here on YouTube like them. I don't need my skincare to be like fun and cute for me to use it. Because Glow Recipe is some weird in between. Like, it's not for kids because it's too expensive to be like skincare for young people. But I do feel like it's like the skincare that like teenagers and maybe early 20s would like aspire to because they're like aesthetic. But then it stinks. It literally smells. And I know this because I chose it as my birthday gift from Sephora. And while I do think that it does some nice stuff for my skin, it smells like Jolly Rancher. And I don't want that. I want my skincare unscented. The only reason it should have a scent in it is it to neutralize the scent. I don't want it to smell like a thing. I don't want my skincare to smell like, for that matter, the only makeup that I want to smell like something, something that is good to eat is whatever I'm putting on my lips. That could smell like vanilla. That's fine because it's going right near my nose. I don't want my foundation to smell like peaches. I don't want my eyeshadow to smell like chocolate. Why is it all to smell? Ew. I hate it. Also, the audacity to be like, there's no other watermelon candles. It's also... And I'm not, sorry to you in Australia or you on the other side of the hemisphere. Remember the Prime Meridian. Never forget the Prime Meridian because it does exist, okay? I just needed you to I need to remind you because I forgot. We must remember the Prime Meridian. You just lost the game. It is winter time. We're heading into winter. That's where we're headed. We're in fall. We're going towards winter. Watermelon. I don't need a watermelon candle. I want something cozy, sweater weather. I smell like sweater weather. This is not the time. You should have done this in the summer. I know that candles are fire. Fire equals warmth. Warmth equals something that we would want to do in winter. But that math ain't mathin' to me. I don't want my house to smell like watermelon in the middle of winter. Sorry if I've ruined the chance of getting PR from them, but I really... Gross. Yeah. My ex had this pair of Jack Skellington pajama bottoms that he gave to me because he didn't want them, that were gifted to him for some reason because I think his mom thought he liked the Nightmare Before Christmas and that's how he ended up with them. And he's like, I'm never going to wear these. And he gifted them to me as if I was someone who would wear something that had the Nightmare Before Christmas on it. Now, in the past, I might have been that person, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm an adult. Not to say that if you're an adult who is into the Nightmare Before Christmas and you wear t-shirts or whatever, like, I don't care. You can do whatever you do with your life. But then I just had, after we broke up, and I just had this pair of Jack Skellington pants in my house, and I was like, I'm never gonna wear these. What an insult. He gave them to me for Christmas, which I guess makes sense because it's Nightmare Before Christmas anyway. This is a brand I don't think I've ever heard of. It's called Cara Beauty, and they released the Cookie Tin Creative Beauty Palette. Now, I have seen this show up on Teresa's channel. Normally, if I talk about something on Critical Sass, the chance that Teresa's already talked about it or is just bought it is very high. I think we all know, but do younger people know that like these cookie tins got used for like everything but actually the cookies inside, you know, like you would eat the cookies and then it would be like, now thimbles live here, or silverware that's too good for regular use but not quite good enough for whenever people are over and we're hosting. So it's like not the good stuff but not the bad stuff, but it's like too good for the bad stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, in here you have the wildest color story. There's too many brushes in here. All of the shades are in different sizes to be different things. Some are shaped like buttons. Some are shaped like, threads of... If you thread a needle what is inside the needle? Like, what is that material called? It's not, it's like not yarn. It's like, what is that? I'm super qualified to be on YouTube. It's thread. It's a spindle of thread. You thread a needle with thread. So this will be the last video because I'm going to... For me, I'm speaking for myself here. This color story did nothing for me. You could do whatever you'd like, but I wouldn't buy it. I don't like the pans being in a disarray. I don't like the packaging. The problem is, the thing that I have an issue with is, this is really big. Now, if I had no makeup and I thought this was cute and I wanted to have it around for like a little cute little thing, sure, I see a world where like a collector might like this, or you have someone who likes makeup and likes to sew, or you have someone, or like, I don't know, you want to delight grandma with a little fun gag gift. That's like who I see this is for. But me as a person who likes to use and wear my makeup, and I do love packaging. I like heft. I like it to be pretty. And I do think objectively this is like a very cute concept. I do not want to store that. So let's say I did like all of the things inside of it. I don't even know where I would put it. So I have a set of IKEA drawers, just one, 5 drawers. I have like 3 of the bigger drawers, 2 little drawers, right? The one that everyone has. Where am I putting this? Not to say that this brand's eyeshadow quality isn't good. Is it going to be worth taking up space that could be taken up by some of my other favorite brands, like some more Natasha Denona, some more Viseart, some more Hindash? I know it's not going to be as good, or I certainly don't. I know it's not going to be better. I don't know. Like performance-based makeup doesn't come in stuff like this. Like it does. It's just, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm sure it's completely workable. I feel like I watch a lot of things while I'm working. I feel like I remember Teresa having enjoyed this palette. And so like, I'm sure the quality is fine, but I'm at a place in my makeup journey where I'm looking for high performance and hopefully like good packaging that comes with it. I'm not looking for cutesy. So a couple of things you should ask yourself whenever you see this. Do you like it just because it's cute? Or do you like it because you think you will also like the product inside? And do all those colors make sense to you? Have you made sense of the colors? Because the way that they are kind of laid out right now, it's kind of like they're all over the place. Have you taken the time to like do the thought process of like, there's this brown, there's this, and then there's blue, and there's yellow? Because what I think the people who are going to buy this are the people who look at it and instantly go, that's cute, that's funny, I want it. And those are the people who are going to buy it. If you're similar to me and you're looking for like quality performance-based products, do you really think you're going to find it in here? Of course, if you want to buy this and you think it's cute or whatever, I don't know. I've never heard of this brand. They kind of came out of nowhere. What I will commend the brand for is that they came with a really strong concept. And I think they did a really good job with it. However, I'm seeing through it. I ain't gonna buy this. I mean, I wouldn't have bought this anyway, but it's just like, we're going through the process of like why I wouldn't, rather than just being like, ew, bad, gross, no. Unless you're Lauren Mercier. Unless you're Lauren Mercier, then I will just say that your product is bad. Odens Eye, I don't know if this is already over. I don't know if this has already happened. So if you can't buy these anymore, I apologize. I was late to the party. But I would like to talk about them still. There's 2 Christmas palettes that were only available seemingly for 24 hours. And if you didn't get them, you didn't get them. They're back. Or we're back. I have no idea. And they also launched 2 new palettes. So there's the Snow Dream palette and also the Hey Reindeer palette. Actually, I have seen some reviews of these and I've heard that the 2 newer palettes, or one of the 2 newer palettes, is people aren't vibing with it, which is interesting. Because I think this is the first time I've seen, well, that's not true. Odens Eye's single shadow release, I feel like, not on YouTube, but on Instagram, kind of did not go over very well. Anyway, all that to be said, also, there are a lot of people who don't care for the brand Odens Eye, and this isn't me just telling you, like, this isn't me supporting them in any specific way. I think we're going to be pretty critical of them. I'm not going to buy an eyeshadow palette that's themed to a holiday. I did it one time. I bought the Natasha Denona Love palette and I decluttered it. And also it would be one of those things where I was like, I guess I can only wear this in February. That's like the feeling. That's the vibe, right? Whenever you release, it's like, I can only wear this between November and December, or it just doesn't make any sense for me to wear it. That's how my brain works. Your brain might work differently. There's obviously no rules to this, right? You can wear whatever colors, whatever you want. If you want to be a bronze goddess in the dead middle of winter in Maine. I want that for you. You should do that. What I think is more interesting is, can we just talk about limited edition makeup for like a second? I just want to talk about it for like a little bit. They released these 2 eyeshadow palettes last year. These two. Whatever this picture said, it's those 2. And they were highly coveted because they were great color stories. And I will contest, I think these color stories are very pretty. I think they were cool. I think that these were a unique take on Christmas. I'm not sure I feel that way about the 2 new ones, but these ones were. And people were upset, devastated, have been begging this brand to bring them back like all year. It's just like since they went away, people have been begging them to bring these back. I think the brand bringing it back is a mistake, because I think limited edition has a time and place. Part of the reason that limited edition feels special is the fact that you got it and it was limited edition and you're one of the 3,000 people who managed to get your hands on it. It's the same thing like as in record collecting or whatever. It's just like what's special about the record that you bought that there was only 500 prints of is that you are one of the 500 people who got the print. Not that it diminishes the value of the people who already bought it last year who managed to get their hands on it. Like part of it being limited edition is like part of the fun of it, right? I think. I understand that there is this thing that comes with limited edition marketing that causes people who may be on a low buy or a no buy or just not have money at the time, it makes them feel some kind of way. But like, also, you might have been someone who like maybe had the money at the time and that was like really cool that you could treat yourself to that. And it gives you this scarcity mindset where you're like, if I don't buy it, I will never have it. What you need to do to enjoy limited edition is make peace with that you might never have it. And maybe and let go of maybe wanting to buy it on a resale website because they no longer make it or whatever. The thing is, if a brand releases something limited edition, if they re-release it later, it's not going to be as special even to you, the person who's wanted it the whole time. Let's say you're one of the people who's coveting these palettes. I have no interest in buying these. I thought I talked about them before. I think they are pretty. Again, that's still true. I still think they are pretty. Even to you, the person who's been begging Odens Eye for a year to bring this back, there's no way what you have created this product to be in your mind is going to live up to it. I think we just saw it with the Ethereal Eyes. Now, I got comments when I talked about Ethereal Eyes coming back that I've heard that the quality wasn't the same as the first run. I can't speak to that. I didn't buy it again because I already have it. But like, I could see myself, because I've done it before, I can give a perfect example. The brand Glaminatrix released the Nocturnal palette, and it was supposed to be limited edition, and then they made more of them, and guess what? It just kind of stuck around forever, so this also could be a mistake for a brand, too, where, like, all these people say, like, please release it again, and then you release it again, and, like, not as many people buy it as you made. And so then it's like you have this stock sitting around, which is also not good for the brand, by the way. You know, like, it's not good for them either. I bought the Nocturnal palette, and guess what? I'm sure if I would have got it in the first run, I would have loved it. But like the fact that I didn't get it until a year later, there was no way that the eyeshadow just the palette didn't live up to what I thought it was, because I thought it was going to solve all of my problems. So if you think these palettes are going to solve all your problems and you've been begging for a year, I just feel like there's no way that this is going to live up to the hype that you've put it in, because at the end of the day, it's just makeup. At the end of the day, it is just makeup. This isn't the only brand who makes color stories like this. This isn't the only makeup brand. I think that there's too many eyeshadows in these. That's my personal thing. I like a 10 color eyeshadow story. 16's really pushing it. I mean, it's fine, but it's like pushing it. Are you going to use all the shades in all of these palettes? Probably not. Even eyeshadow palettes that I have and I love, most of the time I'm using 4 of the shades in it over and over again. Like whenever you look at my eyeshadow palettes, it's like when Tom picks up this palette, this is the eyeshadow look that they do. It just is like a reality of the thing. It's just, it is. I advise you, if you were so hype about this, and perhaps maybe you can't buy it still. Like maybe you don't have the money, or you're on a no buy and you're standing firm in your no buy. It's not part of your low buy rules to purchase it. Just remember that there's no way that this is going to live up to whatever pedestal you've put it on. And that's okay. You can live vicariously through people who have purchased this and be like, look how gorgeous that is. I'm so happy for them. I love that looks like that on them. And I'm glad they're getting good use out of it. And you can celebrate that too. I know it's harder because we all have a little bit of jealousy in our bones. push yourself and look at your eyeshadow collection and be like, if I were to buy that eyeshadow palette, what would be the eye look that I would want to make first and foremost? Because very likely whatever you're most attracted to in any of these palettes is going to be the stuff that you buy all the time anyway. I think limited edition is fun and cute and exciting sometimes, and I like it. And I also like the feeling if I do buy something limited edition that I feel like special that I have it. And I also love whenever someone else gets something limited edition that I wasn't able to get my hands on. I love that they got it and that they're getting to love it and they feel special because they have it. And I think it's okay. I think it's all okay. If you made it to the end of this, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. That's very helpful to me. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.